All right. I know it's late, but I am streaming tonight. I know I missed the last 2 games, but I am going to stream a little bit tonight just to kind of catch up on some things, and then we'll be on our way. I'll be streaming after Wednesday's game as well against the Lakers at the United Center. I know that one is not going to be finishing as late as tonight. This is a West Coast game, and I'll be looking forward to that one. But good to see y'all. Hope y'all are doing well. If you're watching the VOD, if you're watching it live, I do appreciate you watching. Want to catch up a couple things. I know there's a game against Portland we have to talk about a little bit. Obviously, the big win against the Lakers yesterday on Sunday was humongous for this Bulls team, and then we're going to talk about this loss tonight against the Clippers, which was a pretty awful loss, and just in terms of look at the box score and everything. But like, I'm not really sweating over this loss too much. It's bad for me to say that because every single game is important right now for the Bulls, but I do think that this loss wasn't the worst thing in the world. If there was a game that I thought that the loss that the Bulls were going to lose on this road trip, it's going to be this one. Second game of back-to-back. You just played the Lakers the previous day. Bulls obviously are going to be a little bit tired. So, yeah, I'm not like I'm not too overall concerned about this one, but again, every game's important here. Sorry. All right. What's going on, box? Every game we are like a broken record. What our problems, etc. This time we forgot the whole league is doing it against Westbrook / ignoring him at the perimeter, and we instead were closing out and leaving Batum and Gordon to cook us. Yeah, I mean, we could say that was the issue, or one of the issues for sure. I don't think that was the issue tonight. It definitely was one of the issues, though. I think this was a game where you could see that everyone was about a step slow, right? I thought specifically, and this is the reason why I'm concerned about DeRozan. I thought DeRozan just was not looking good at all tonight. I know he made some points and made some shots, but his defense tonight, he was not rotating at all tonight. It was just very, very slow or no rotations from him tonight, which I was just like, yikes. And so it just makes me question, how healthy is he? Again, he missed that game against Portland due to his quad. So I just question how healthy is he actually here. Hopefully he'll get some rest before the next game. But it just seemed like everyone was a step slow tonight. And again, second game back to back. I do think that was part of the issue. But this game was just I see the issues that this Bulls team is having defensively. I very clearly see it. Yes, we're letting Westbrook get right into the lane. Yes, we're letting Eric Gordon and Nick Batum get wide open 3-point shots for who knows whatever reason that is. But it just seemed like with this Bulls team, okay, the wheels fell off in the second quarter when that second unit was out there. It was DeRozan plus the second unit, and that lineup, they've had success recently. It's just that I know with that lineup that lineup is going to have a really rough time trying to score the damn ball because there is very little shot making and playmaking ability in that lineup, right? We could talk about, Ayo and his very poor production recently. I know Kobe's been doing well, but we're going to talk about him tonight. And then DeRozan's out there, but he's the only dude out there that I know that in the half court can consistently score and play make. That second unit, specifically without Alex Caruso out there to help defensively, they're going to struggle. And we saw the wheels fell off at that moment, and then the Bulls just kind of looked slow the rest of the way. And I'm just annoyed with how bad the offense looked tonight. And we can talk about the big three, and I'm aware that Zach LaVine's having an incredible month, and he's been phenomenal since the All-Star break, etc., etc., etc. I think Zach had another good game tonight, but and not everything can be just Zach LaVine go to the basket and him laying it up and in. It just can't be that every single game. It just can't. And I do think that we saw some good production overall from the big three. I mean, I know 64 points really is not entirely enough, but I'm looking at some of the others, right? I think people had a great game tonight, by the way, but hello. Like, everyone's talking about this man right here, and this is like everyone's saying we gotta extend this dude, right? Like, it's time to extend him. Like, we gotta give him a contract. Extend Kobe White. Hashtag extend Kobe White. Sorry. What? Derek Jones Jr., Andre Drummond. I mean, I'm not gonna say much about him. And then Io again. Like, what the? Hello? We just kind of saw tonight that the production wasn't there, right? And it's really hard when you see nobody on the bench was scoring tonight. I mean, the Bulls had 6 points off the bench, like, in the middle of the third quarter. Like, that's how bad it was, in terms of bench points. And it's just not gonna get done when it comes to it at the end of it. So I don't think that these three guys had a great game. I think they had overall a solid game. It just, obviously it's not enough. I think Patrick Williams had a great game, but I mean, Zach was like the only guy pushing the ball in transition tonight, which was odd. So again, it just seemed like everyone was slow. Everyone just seemed slow tonight. Again, I'm not going to stress about this one too much, because if there was a game to lose, it was going to be this one. Best team that we're going to be facing in this road trip. Clippers are obviously, in my opinion, better than the Bulls. I'm aware that they don't have Paul George right now, but I do think the Clippers are better. And we lost. So there's that. Here's my issue that I'm just I can't get away from this, and it truly does bother me. So in total, the points in the paint battle was equal, okay? And I'm like, okay, points in the paint battle was equal. That's not great, especially if you're the Bulls defense. Like, you need to do better if you're the Bulls defense. That just can't happen. Here's my issue. The issue in the end comes down to this, and it's this. Like, we this just can't continue. I tweeted out that we're watching modern basketball versus 90s basketball tonight, and it was just facts. We can't continue this trend. I don't know what happened today, but for some reason, the Chicago Bulls said, Zach LaVine, you're not shooting threes. Like, DeMar DeRozan shot more threes than Zach LaVine tonight. Zach didn't make a three. DeMar DeRozan shot 5 and made 2. That's backwards, right? That's just straight up backwards. And that's inexcusable from, I guess you could say on Zach, but like everyone's saying, drive Zach. I think that's just unacceptable from Billy Donovan. Like, you know that one of your best scorers, one of your best three-point shooters has to get more than 2 shots from three-point range. That's just unacceptable from what we saw tonight from the Bulls offense. It just straight up was disgusting to watch. And then obviously, lack of three-point shots is always a thing. But I think people kind of think like the Clippers are like a mid-range team. Like, I don't really see a lot. Like, I know Kawhi is going to take those mid-range shots, but you look around at everything else from this Clippers team, it's not that, right? And then we saw this tonight, right, from the Bulls. This is how the Bulls lose games. This is how the offense sputters. This is how everything goes bad for this Bulls team. So the defense wasn't there tonight, obviously, and we can talk about that. I'm going to go into that a little bit more, but I just think the offense was just straight garbage tonight. I know the Bulls scored 112, but I'm going to argue that fourth quarter kind of helped us when it was garbage time out there. So just seeing 2 quarters of 23 and 22 points, I think people back in the day think that's a lot of points. In today's world, that means nothing, okay? If you score 22 points in a quarter, you had a bad quarter offensively. I don't care how well you shot. That means you did something bad offensively that quarter. And you saw 2 back-to-back quarters by the Bulls where they put up 23 and 22 points. That's how you lose games, okay? In response, the Clippers put up 35 and 37 points. So there it is. It's straight up awful from this Bulls team just to see this in terms of offense. So we could talk about the defense all we want in this game, because yes, the defense was the main issue in this one. I'm not denying that, but this offense has to be better, just straight up. And if Zach LaVine is not being putting up 35 plus and shooting somehow 70% from the field in that game, like, this offense has to do better just in general. It can't all just be on Zach. And look, Zach has done a ton for this offense recently. There's a reason why this Bulls offense recently has gone up to about, like, in the last, like, I think 12 games, the Bulls offense is ranked 12th. It's not amazing. It's definitely better, right? But we still see the issues with this team offensively. We can't continue this if we're the Chicago Bulls. We just straight up can't. Let's see. They made 23s. We shot 23, but 2 made 8. We made exact. Yeah, as you said. As you said, Box. It's straight up inexcusable that Zach LaVine shot 2 threes tonight. I'm just gonna say this. I did not see a single play tonight that was supposed to get Zach LaVine a 3-point shot. I did not see a single one. And I think if you're Billy Donovan, that's a straight up just terrible coaching job by you on offense. And like the defense, I've always given Donovan credit for the defense. Okay, his defense for most of the season has been fantastic. I know tonight's different, but the offense, when I see that Zach LaVine only shot 2, and I did not see a single play to get Zach LaVine a 3-point shot, hey, you're doing something wrong coaching wise. You're just straight up doing something completely wrong. Yeah, it just can't continue. Also, assists 40 something versus 25. Look, 25 assists for the Bulls. I think what did the Bulls have? They had 26. Now I'm gonna take away about like 3 or 4 because crunch or just garbage time. But I don't think the Bulls in this game were like passing the ball bad, right? I don't think it was like, the offense was really stagnant, etc., etc. I think that it was just the Clippers were just looking so dominant on the offensive end that we're like, 40 assists to 26 assists. Oh my God. Like, yeah, the Clippers offense is this, and it's not a shocker when you shoot 43s per game and you got shooters everywhere on the court. That's what happens. You get a lot of guys that get a lot of assists because all of these guys are willing to be like, yeah, we're gonna shoot the ball, and not be afraid to shoot it, and we're not gonna go and dribble into a freaking mid-range shot and shoot a very inefficient shot. It's how this system works for the Clippers. And hey, look, it works, guys. Wow, who would have thought? Then you have Stacey and his followers. Going, it's a simple game. Give the ball to Vooch down low to fight. It's indeed a simple game. You trade 2s for 3s, you lose. It's really simple. Yeah. Every time Stacey King says it's a simple game, I'm like, yeah, it's a simple. Yeah, just as you said, Box. It's a simple game. 3's more than 2. That's a simple game. Simple math. So I don't know what Stacey King is saying. Like I hate it when I see Bulls fans saying, "Wow, we lost tonight because we didn't give Vooch the ball," etc., etc., etc. Sorry, guys. I truly do not want to hear that. The Bulls shot 23 threes tonight. The Clippers made 23s. That's the difference in this game, and that's the end of the story. You want to know the reason why the Bulls lost? There's that. Also, the Bulls offense sucks. So yeah, what's going on, Noel? Good to see ya. I can't see DeMar stopping another transition/fast break 2v1, 3v2 to slow down and wait for the defense to settle. It's kind of sickening. If you don't want to run, push the ball forward, pass it. So yeah, I did see DeMar DeRozan a few times, which is another reason why I'm questioning his health right now. Like, I'm aware he played in both these LA games, but I question how close he is to 100%. Because I know already he's not 100%, but like, is he at least 80%? Is he 70%? Like, I don't know where he is. Because if he's like 75%, I don't want him playing, right? I would not want him out there because that means he's not going to try defensively, right? And also, he didn't push the ball tonight. And as you said, Box, there were many moments today where I'm like, if DeMar just threw the ball ahead to Zach in a transition opportunity, like, I think the Bulls scored there, but instead we slowed it down, and there was a possession where Beverly got a 3-point shot out of it, but that it's not always gonna work, right? I just think that with DeMar, how healthy are you? Are you at least 80%? Or I would ideally like you 85%. If you're like 75% or lower, I don't want you out there right now. So I hope to see that we figure this out. It's either that he's got to sit against LA, which is going to suck, or he's going to get enough treatment today, tomorrow, and then hopefully be good to go on Wednesday. I'm aware it's midnight, so I know today's already Tuesday, etc. But we're not going to do that here. In the fourth quarter, when he wanted to get his, he drives strong into the paint. He seemed healthy when he wanted to get his. He was indifferent or just regressing. I don't know. Or just regressing. I think at that point the game's over. I truly did not care what he was doing at the end. So maybe he was getting his, but I've said this season. The reason why DeMar DeRozan, I'm just concerned about him. Like, people think that his game's going to age gracefully, and I'm like, look, I think that DeMar DeRozan's going to stay in this league for a while. I just don't think he's going to be able to stay at an all-star level for a long time. And the reason why is this. If he's not going to be driving to the basket a good amount, then he's not going to be able to continue this. If he is solely just going to rely on that mid-range shot, he'll be in the league for a while because he makes that shot at a very high rate for how many contested shots he takes from there and how many just shots he makes in general from there. But it's not going to allow him to stay at this high enough scoring level for him to be an all-star consistently. So I do question if maybe he is regressing. I just think that my biggest concern right now is his injury. Like, how is the quad? Are you actually going to be driving to the rim or are you not? Like, I don't know where you are right now if you're DeMar DeRozan. So just a little bit concerning about that. Also, you know, fast break opportunities. He didn't want to push the ball tonight. So there's that. And I see, Noel, you also said that DeMar was also messing up a lot on the defensive end. Yes, he seemed to me tonight he did not want to try defensively. And this is the reason why I'm saying, like, look, where are you, DeMar? How close to 100% are you? Because if you're not going to try defensively, I don't want you out there. I'm not asking for him to be a great defender. I'm just asking him to be in the right rotations. And tonight we saw him blow like a million rotations just because he didn't want to try. So, yeah. People probably played his best game as a Bull. Good choices offensively, great shooting. Although he still hesitates a lot when he is open. Wants to pump fake and go for the middle. He was great defensively, both covering on and sorry, I can't. Hold on, I'm trying to extend my chat here. Oh, defensively, both covering and on ball, but he definitely needs to work on his rebounding. We can't be averaging 2 to 3 rebounds per game at 6'8" frame. Yeah, I agree. His rebounding is always going to need work, and I think that's something that we all kind of know. I thought he also passed up on some threes tonight. I thought that he could have easily shot 5 tonight if he wanted to. But he decided to turn some down. He was hitting his mid-range shot, and good for him. I was just more happy with the 2 threes that he decided to take, which went down, and then that hard cut to the basket I thought was very good. I also thought just defensively he played a very solid game. As you said, though, rebounding needs to be better. So yeah, this game, again, I think the Bulls looked slow. I think that, second game of back-to-back, they looked a little bit slower. I just think also the Bulls offense just needs to be better. Like we can talk about the Bulls looking a step slow on defense, which they definitely were, but I think they were also just a step slow on offense where they did not want to go out in transition, right? They did not want to run today, except unless your name's Zach. Like, that's the issue with this team. It's like there's enough young and athletic guys on this team where you can be running out in transition consistently every single game. It doesn't have to be for the entire game. Just there has to be moments where you're going to take advantage, and that second unit is a place where I think that could happen. Now, I was a big fan of having at the beginning of the season when Zach was not 100%, but at the beginning of the season, the rotation was flipped with him and DeRozan, right? We saw that Zach was actually the guy running with the second unit, and DeRozan was the guy running mostly with the first unit, and that allowed Zach to play in the more athletic, young, and faster second unit, right? I almost question, like, maybe we should go back to that. Like, I know that Zach's having such a great, month of March, and he's been playing phenomenal, but that second unit, to me, is when the Bulls should really pick up the tempo. And if you're having DeMar DeRozan out there, he's going to slow the ball down. Like, I don't know. It just seems like there's conflicting play styles all the time on the court. The first unit wants to play slow because you have DeRozan and you have Vucevic out there. The second unit wants to play fast, but then you throw DeRozan out there. It's like, this is the type of stuff that I really start to kind of look at, and I always thought that Levine should be playing with the more athletic unit, but I don't know. Maybe Donovan wants like a balance or something, but it is overall concerning. Just kind of see. What's going on, Funk Logic? Hey peeps, shame for the loss, but did we play well? We did not really play well in this one, Funk Logic. The first quarter was good, but then after that it was just bad. We saw that this team just looked slow. They looked sluggish tonight, and like I think the biggest issue for me was that the Bulls were not pushing in transition tonight when I thought that they could have. The only person that was running tonight was Zach, and everyone else was just being slow. I don't know. Just overall, just kind of bad tonight. I think P.O. wasn't close enough to the rim to get rebounds. I think he could have maybe gotten a few more, because there are some moments where I thought that he wasn't really trying, but I'm not going to be worried about that too much today. It is what it is with P.O. Have you noticed his release is different when he shoots the middle versus the three? It seems slower when he's shooting the three. I do notice that with P. Will. So the catch and shoot for Patrick Williams is definitely slower, right? But that pull up seems pretty quick. So I don't know what it is, but yeah, it is. He usually guards the best player who are shooters, so he never really gets a chance to the rim. But my issue with this, Noel, with you saying that is long shot, long rebound, right? The Clippers, they shot 43s tonight, and how many times did we see the Bulls? They didn't get the rebound because there's a long shot, and it just bounced off heavy off the rim, and the Clippers got the offensive rebound because of it, right? So I'm aware that Patrick Williams is going to be guarding a perimeter player, okay? I'm aware that's the case, but the Clippers shot 43s tonight. So, yes, he's farther away from the rim, but those shots come off farther away from the rim, so that's where I thought that he could have gotten a few more. And that to me is where I think he can do a little bit better. Because remember, there was a play tonight where Patrick Williams, he went up for a rebound, and Kawhi Leonard just completely stripped it from him. Or I guess he will never even have possession of it, right? That is where, in general, he just has to be better, right? How do you balance it though? Our bench has no shooting, minus inconsistent Kobe. DeMar ain't helping them with his play style. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? If the bench has no shooting, okay, then you put Zach out there. Zach's a shooter, but also you play faster. I just think that if you have Zach in that second unit, right, you're gonna see more movement in the offense in the half court in general, just to use their athleticism, use their cutting ability, like use their quickness more in the half court. And then also in transition, you'll use their speed, right? But with DeMar out there, it's just isolate, slow it down. We're just gonna stand there, right? I think that's the reason why I'm just considering. I'm not saying it has to be. Like, I'm not saying this is for sure gonna happen. I'm just suggesting it. Shinny, are we gonna make the plan? I think the Bulls are making the plan. I truly do. I think what's going to really decide it is the upcoming game against Atlanta at the United Center. That's going to be a huge one to see if the Bulls really make the plan. But if you look right now, I think the Bulls are they're on pace to make the plan. The Pacers just lost again tonight. So they're down here now. So there is suddenly a 3-game difference between 10th and 11th. And the Bulls, obviously, they're 10th right now. The big thing for me is that I'm looking at this. Like, there's a 1-game difference between 8, 9, and 10. I would like the Bulls to jump up to 8 here, because that means you can lose one playing game and still make the playoffs. So we face Atlanta, which would be huge if we could take over their spot. Obviously we have to get past the Raptors first, but I'd also just be happier if we get 9th and Atlanta is at 10. So I do think the Bulls are going to make the play-in. They still have some work to do here, but I do think that they're going to make it, just because the Wizards and Pacers, they have sucked so bad recently. So I just think the Wizards and Pacers, they're pretty much just out right now. There are guards that are guarding the perimeter and average more rebounds. It's more about motor. While he is smart and strong, he can defend. He doesn't hustle. I think it's also, with him, I think it's also positioning, right? Like, I think with Patrick Williams, what happens is that, like, when the shot goes up, he's not really thinking to himself, okay, how can I position myself better to get the rebound? Like, maybe I don't even have to box my guy out because I'm guarding, a guy on the perimeter, but where can I move to the floor where it's like, okay, that's a 3-point shot from the top of the key. How can I move to get into the better position? I think he just kind of stands there sometimes, and that's where it's like, I think he could have got the rebound if he just moved a little. I'm not even talking like a big amount of movement. I'm just saying take 2 steps to your left, right? But I think that's just it with P. Will. Again, this is something that I actually think is going to get better as he gets older, okay? This is also something that I think, in general, players will get better at as they get older, as they understand the game more. Again, this is technically his 2nd year. So I just think he'll be okay. I'm not going to be too concerned about it. It's definitely something that he has to work on in the offseason, though. So I hope that if DeMar is still around, then he helps him work on that. Let's go to Unstoppable. Good to see you. So that's pretty. Timmy doesn't always go strong for the ball. Notice how easily Kawhi, okay, he has a claw, barely tipped the ball from P. Will's finger a couple times, and he lost the surefire rebound. Yeah, P. Will's hands, not finger. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So just better hands, right? I do think that with Patrick, what needs to happen, because we've also seen him this season, right? not get rebounds when it's necessary for him to get a rebound, right? Remember that Boston game where he missed a rebound in that game, right? So it's all just about, figuring out how can you have more security on the ball when you get the rebound. That's all it is. Again, something I think is just going to come with time. I'm not too concerned about it, because it's like, if this was a strength thing, that's one thing, but I know that he is 6'8" and has an NBA body already, so I'm not too concerned about it. And he is pretty athletic already, so yeah, this is not a biggest concern for me. Obviously, it'd be more of a concern for me now, but that's just for this season. I think moving forward, he'll be okay. Yeah, that's that. All right, I want to talk about just one more thing when it comes to this game, and we're gonna talk about Kobe a little bit here. Sometimes it's the most of the times it's what you said, paying no attention. He is also missing his timing on jumps a lot of the time. He actually might be. I don't really know about that, but yeah, he actually might be doing that as well. The biggest thing with Patrick Williams when it comes to rebounding, my biggest issue is that I think he's not always in the right position. Like, and I'm not saying it's like he's not boxing out. I'm saying that if a shot goes up, you can't just stand where you saw the shot go up. I need you to move a little bit more to the middle of the floor, or I need you to just take a few steps over. Like, that's it. I don't want him just kind of standing there, right? Especially if you're actually playing the power forward position, and there are moments where he really is, right? Because sometimes he's not guarding the best player on the floor. Sometimes that's Caruso out there, and then sometimes that's Beverly also out there. And if he's not really on a guy, right, then he needs to do a little bit better job. All right, I need to talk about this, because this is something that I'm very interested in how people are going to react to this, because I'm aware of what this player has done this season. I'm aware of what's happening this season, and I'm not saying that this person is doing anything bad. I'm just saying, let's be realistic, okay? And I want to hear what you guys have to think about it. I think we have the flow and chemistry, but it still seems like a tight hustle to the play-in. I mean, look, we obviously need to continue to win, Funk Logic, but I think with how the Wizards and Pacers are losing right now, and the fact that there is a 3-game difference, and if you think about it, like, I think there's what? Sorry, quick math here. Like, teams have played 75, so there's about 7-ish games left. Like, it would be very difficult for either the Wizards or the Pacers to beat the Bulls into the play-in right now. Like, the Bulls would have to legit lose out or like lose most of their games, and then the Wizards and Pacers have to win most of their games. Like, it'd be very, very tough mathematically right now for that to happen. So, yeah. All right, back to what I was saying. Oh, sorry, hold on. Both when he is trying to dunk or rebound, is it focus, not being confident enough? You watching, you can definitely see that he has all the skills to become a big player. Is the will there, though? I wish it is. I also hope it's there. Just left the game. Lots of Bulls fans and tennis thought we came out strong, but we quickly faded. Not sure what it was, but looked like the Clips have way more energy. Were you there, Anthony, at the game? That's cool if you were, if that's what you're saying. Appreciate you checking in tonight, Anthony. I know it's late. You were there? Yeah, that's cool. I did see a lot of Bulls fans there. We saw it on the broadcast, so it's awesome that you got to go and see it. You're in LA? Ah, gotcha. Glad you got to catch a Bulls game this season. I know it's been a struggle bus, but good to see it. All right. Okay, guys. I just need to talk about this because this is just, it's bothering me because I understand what Kobe White has done this season, okay? I understand that I understand that Kobe White has improved defensively. I understand he's improved his handles, and I'm aware that he is being a better playmaker in general this season. But this is the type of game that I look at, and I'm like, guys, like, people are automatically saying, like, give Kobe whatever. Like, and I think they're just, like, they're not just being, like, an absolute bonehead about it. Like, they're actually kind of saying, like, okay, let's say Kobe White gets $15 million annually this offseason, okay? And, you know, some team gives it to him, or maybe the Bulls just straight up give it to him. Like, or let's just say that, some team gives Kobe White $15 million annually, okay? I'm just saying right now, I don't know if I'm gonna give that to him. Okay, like I'm just saying that right now, because what I don't think people are really looking at is like Kobe has these little stretches, here and there. That's like, oh wow, he looks really good. Like I'm aware that he played fantastic against Portland and great in the previous game, and then pretty good against the Lakers, even though he went kind of cold in that one too. But then let's just remember, before those games happened, like he was on a struggle bus. Like he was struggling. And people were kind of saying, like, man, Kobe White hasn't really hit a three recently. Like, he was on a pretty big struggle bus. So my whole thing is this, guys. When I look at Kobe White's numbers at the end of the day, like 9 points in 23 minutes just to me is not going to cut it. Okay. I'm aware that, again, I'm aware he's improved defensively. I'm aware his handles have significantly improved. I'm still saying that I think the Bulls should re-sign him come this offseason. But it can't be for a big chunk of money. Like I'm willing to give him like $10 million annually, like, and I'm willing to go up to like 12 and a half, maybe $13 million, but that's it. I'm not willing to go past that number, and I even think 13 million might be a little bit too much. And I'm aware that the salary cap continues to go up every single year, so it's like 12 million today is less than what 12 million is gonna, or 12 million today is different what 12 million in next year is gonna be. I'm just saying that Kobe White, when it comes to him, his inconsistency is an issue. If the Chicago Bulls are actually going to be relying on Kobe White to give them offense every single game, that's an issue, okay? I'm aware of what he's done. I'm aware how much he's improved this season, but I see 9.3 points per game in 23 minutes. There are games he puts up 16 points and plays good defense that gives you 5 assists and plays well in transition and does a very, very good job. And then there's games like tonight where he can't hit a damn shot, can't hit a three, and he shoots 3 of 8 and misses some gimmies as well. He had 5 assists, so good for him, but I didn't think his defense was that good tonight either. Like, this is the reason why I'm just like, look, when it comes to Kobe, again, I want him here. But it has to be for the right price, man. I am not just going to straight up be like, okay, yeah, we're going to match anything that Kobe White gets this offseason. So, yes, Kobe, I think, should be re-signed. But there are other guys, I'll just say, that in my head should be above that list of what, above the priority list of who they should bring back. And then, with Kobe, like, again, it has to be for the right price. We can't just be giving him whatever contract he goes out and gets, right? I think that needs to be something that we need to think about when it comes to Kobe. So his inconsistency, man, it seriously is an issue in my opinion, and I'm aware of there are games that he really has a big impact on. But unless he's gonna have that big impact every single game, or at least close to it, then I'm not gonna give him a big contract, right? So I hope fans can understand where I'm coming from. But tonight was one of those nights where it's like the big three can give you a decent amount, but I need someone else, right? And we're all kind of looking at Kobe like, hey, we would like you to step up because you've been playing very well recently. That didn't happen tonight. You got 28 minutes. So I just look at this and I'm like, no, I really don't know what it is. Yeah, just overall rough. Yesterday, rebounds, assists, etc. And 5 of 17. People are giving 400. Like, yeah, like there were actually people saying like Kobe should be like starting next season, and I'm just like, no, I don't think Kobe should be starting next season. Like, I do think that I do think the Bulls are going to consider maybe starting at a point guard, but I just straight up I'm like, I'm not going to allow that to happen. Like, unless the Bulls are like full out completely invested, which I think is an absolute tragedy if they are, I don't want him starting next season. And honestly, I don't know how much I can like guarantee him like 25 minutes a night. Like, I think we should play him every single game next season, but if he's not going to be producing, then I'm not going to give him 28 minutes, right? Or I guess, let's take away crunch time, like 24 minutes. Like, it's just, it's something that I think people are just like, they're not exactly getting yet, because his inconsistency is an issue. Let's see here. Great game by P. Well wasted. I did think P. Well had a great game. It just, in general, this Bulls team defensively was not there, and then offensively, bad. Thoughts on offensive sets tonight? Not good, Ryan. I thought the offensive sets were pretty god awful. And if you just want to know my in general thoughts, then just look at this. But just look at this shot chart. I think people always think the Clippers shoot mid-range shots because they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook on the team. Well, I beg to differ, because there's this for the Bulls, right? All this crap, and then there's only this for the Clippers, right? And that's very few for the Clippers. Clippers shot 43s, Bulls shot 23. There's the difference in the game and a story. Also, I thought that if LaVine only shoots 2 threes in a game, your offensive sets are doing something wrong. LaVine needs to shoot more than 2 threes in a game. Part of it's on him, maybe. I don't think anything was on him. If you want to say that, fine. But yeah, Billy Donovan needs to do better. Offensive sets were god awful tonight. Resign if we can afford him 10 million max. I will ideally like 10 million. And there's also another reason why I'm going to bring up later in the stream why I'm like 10 million is probably where I want Kobe to be at. Like really ideally. So we'll see though. Kobe big time. All the Bulls fans waiting outside the team hotel before the game. So did Zach. Only DT and Vooch stopped. I got you, Anthony. Yeah. That's cool to see that the fans were there. His whole career has been consistently inconsistent. Yeah, that is the unfortunate part about Kobe White. He's consistently inconsistent. Yep, that's Kobe's nickname right there. We try to offer a season and a half if Kobe doesn't work at PG for extended minutes. I just think in general Kobe White does not work for extended minutes. Like if he's, I should say he does not work for extended minutes consistently. Okay, like. I know a 6-man can play 30 minutes per game. Like, we've seen that in this league before, okay? That should not be Kobe every single game. Like, there are actually some rotations in the league where the 6-man, like, plays, like, 30 minutes every single game. That can't be Kobe White. It just straight up can't. If he's playing well, then yeah. If he's playing well, that game is hitting his shots and playing good defense and everything else. Yeah, you play him a lot of minutes that game. But if he just can't get a shot going in that game, then I'm not going to be playing him. And this is the reason why I'm just like, if the Bulls are going to be investing a heavy amount of money into him for him to come off the bench, that means they're investing heavily into him to be consistently coming off the bench and giving this team points and being a spark plug. And I just don't think he can do that every single game. So it makes me like, look, I'm not going to invest a huge amount of money into him, and I'm also not going to have him be the sole guy that can score come off the bench next season. We need more people to come off the bench and do better. I do think that Ayo Dosunmu obviously needs to do better. I mean, hell, he shot 0 for 5 today, put up no points. I'm fully aware of that. But I'm just saying when it comes to Kobe, like, he can't be the only spark plug off the bench in terms of points. He just straight up can't. So I hope that Bulls fans and the front office consider that. Again, I want him back. I want him back next season, but for a very, very reasonable contract and not anything past $14 million. Let's see here. I'm going to break down this Casey Johnson number 1 pick theory later in the stream. Sorry if I missed it. Let me just make this clear. Casey Johnson talked about a first round pick. It's not the number 1 pick for this upcoming draft for the Bulls. Okay. I am willing to break it down. I think I've also kind of said like something similar to this in previous streams, but I am willing to talk about it again. Just so you know, I have said consistently that I think the Portland pick is good for the Bulls. I'm aware that Portland's not going to make the playoffs this season, and I think that's totally fine. But when all these Bulls fans have just said a foregone conclusion that, oh, we're not going to get a first round pick from Portland, like, I don't think they understand that this goes until 2028. It's not just for this season that the Bulls are not going to get a pick, right? So I want people to understand that. And I'm going to explain what Casey Johnson said, because he took this theory a step further, and then we're going to break that down as well. So I'm willing to talk about it. So let me finish on Kobe, and then I'm going to talk about that. Again, though, I just want to say that people that think the Portland pick is bad don't understand what's happening. The Bulls are going to get a first-round pick from Portland somehow. Just saying, okay? It's somehow going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, okay? And I want people to understand that. We shouldn't forget that the roster is terribly constructed, and Billy Donovan should overcoach this team. This is not a team that has players to allow you to be just a player's coach. We don't have that kind of personality experience. They need a short leash and more sets to shoot the threes. If a player's open doesn't shoot it, seriously, bench right away. Time to reflect. I agree with you. I think Kobe White also passed up a bunch of three-point shots today. I'm aware he wasn't really knocking them down, but he wasn't really hitting his other shots either. So, yeah, just... But we need better shot selection. And I'm not talking about open shots. I'm talking about just, in general, shoot more threes and not more mid-range. Yeah, I got you, Anthony. Just stick around. Last thing, okay? I am inconsistently saying, and this is about Kobe. This is to finish my Kobe point. We're about to talk about that theory by Casey Johnson, okay? I am consistently saying that the Chicago Bulls are going to have like close to $75 million in cap space. It's closer to 60 though for the 2023 or 2024 offseason, okay? Now, I think this is very important because when I look at this, I'm like, hey, this says $75 million now. Now, if we don't re-sign Vooch and then we trade DeRozan or however, we just don't have Vooch and DeRozan on the roster at this time, and even with Lonzo Ball's money, I'm expecting Ayo Dosunmu to get re-signed. Probably not for a while at this point because he hasn't played very well this season, right? So I expected this number to go down to like close to 60-ish, right? Let's just say though it goes down to 65, okay? Or scrap that. Let's just say Ayo Dosunmu gets like $7 million. This number goes down to 67, all right? When I look at this and then I look at what's happening here, this little cap figure here for Patrick Williams is kind of a big hindrance for the Bulls in terms of how they're going to be able to have that much money to go after big time free agents, okay? But if you just kind of think about this, right? If let's say Ayo Dosunmu's re-signed, and even let's just say someone gets $10 million, right? And is someone gets $10 million annually and is making $10 million in 2024, which I just don't expect that to happen, okay? Patrick Williams and his $29 million cap hold is going to eat into this practical cap space number. So minus $10 million from Ayo Dosunmu, and then Patrick Williams is basically minus 30, okay? So 65 minus 30, you get about 35-ish, right? Now, the thing is, though, that I'm more looking at is if we just re-sign Patrick Williams, because Patrick Williams is not going to get a $29 million contract, right? He's going to get somewhere closer to the $15 million to $18 million range, probably. It's going to be around there somewhere, right? So you can take away this cap figure immediately. So again, minus $10 million from Ayo Dosunmu, so you're down to $65 million. Then let's just say minus 17 from Patrick Williams. Okay, so you're pretty much what are you down to? Sorry, quick math. Sorry, hold on. 65 minus 15. You're at 50. So you're down to about 48, right? So in that scenario, the Bulls have a max contract slot from cap space, okay? Because if in 2024, if a player with 7 to 9 years of experience is looking for a max contract, their first year is going to be about $42 million, okay? So the Jaylen Browns, the Pascal Siakams, the DeJounte Murrays, they're going to want that max contract, and you have it if you re-sign Ayo and then you re-sign Patrick Williams, and then, this takes away this cap figure, right? You have a max contract slot. But if you re-sign Kobe White, that max contract slot goes away. So and there is some math here. Like, let's just say Ayo Dosunmu re-signs for $5 million and Kobe White re-signs for 10. Then yeah, I think the math actually just barely works out where the Bulls will have just barely a max contract slot still if they re-sign Patrick Williams on the cheaper side. But I feel like that's very unlikely. So when it comes to Kobe, I just want people to understand that if Kobe's whatever the Bulls decide to do with Kobe, and I'm being serious here, it matters how much money they give him, because if they give him a lot of money, then come 2024, the Bulls are not going to have the cap space for a max contract dude, okay? But if we make sure that he doesn't get a lot, right, then maybe the Bulls have a max contract slot for 2024. Or in general, just have more cap space to work with. And I think that's very important to look at. So this Kobe White decision, why I said I want him back, I want him on the very cheap end, right? I want him signed for a pretty long-term type deal, but I want him on the cheaper side. And I also want Ayo Dosunmu re-signed for a very cheap contract as well, which I think is probably going to happen because of how poorly he's played this season, okay? So those two decisions, they're going to be huge. Now, we'll see what they do with Vooch, because I could see this team bringing back Vooch for next season, but not bringing him back for 2024, and that's fine. But that Kobe decision is going to be huge here. Unless the Bulls are going to suddenly get rid of Lonzo Ball's money, which would be fantastic, then all this goes away. but I don't think this Lonzo Ball money is going away anytime soon. They could obviously stretch and waive this, but that's another story for another day. So I'm just saying that this Kobe White decision, it's a big decision, and so if Kobe White has a chance to prevent you from getting a guy that is an all-star, you don't take that, right? We need people to understand that. So be aware of what Kobe White could get this offseason. I don't think there's a lot of teams with cap space that are going to want him. So I think the Bulls need to try their best to get him for the cheaper side of things. So I hope this all makes sense. But Kobe White's contract needs to be on the cheaper side. All right? And it's the reason why I'm bringing this up now. Because, again, 2024 I think is a huge thing. And we should all be looking at that. And this is, by the way, not even factoring in a first-round pick that the Bulls are going to have in 2023. So, be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. That's that. I want to just finish that point on Kobe White. I know maybe it went over your head, but I just wanted to point this out. Okay? What position is number one priority this offseason? To me, it's point guard, because Lonzo's not going to be healthy. And then I think just shooting. I honestly do not care about what the position is. Just get shooters. I genuinely do not care. I need shooters. I trade DeMar for a PG and get a power forward or PG depending on what I can get for DeMar and slot people at small forward where he should be playing. DeMar for Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark. If we get Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark and somehow get a pick out of it, that's an absolute win. I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies do that though. Grizzlies are dumb enough to lead DeMar to get to the next level, then yeah. We probably need to include Alex Caruso. I don't know about that. I mean, you're trading for two bench players. Like, Brandon Clark and Tyus Jones are two bench players, right? I don't think Alex Caruso needs to be in that. I think the Grizzlies need to give us a pick. Imagine Jaren Jackson Jr. for Alex Caruso. I think anyone would take that, but that's not going to happen. All right. Anthony, let me answer your Casey Johnson question here. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's talk about this because I was not expecting that. It scared me. This is important for the Bulls coming up here. Sorry, I didn't know the music stopped. Hold on. This really applies to the Bulls heavily this upcoming offseason. And I think this is a huge thing for the franchise here. So let's really break this down and talk about this. Okay. So I am going to pull up where I like to go to, which is Real GM and the future draft picks for every single team. And we're going to look at this. All right. So let me look at this. All right. Or let me show you guys this. Sorry, I went past Portland. All right. So right now, from the Lauri Markkanen trade that happened in not last offseason, but the previous one, where the Bulls got Derrick Jones Jr. in return. The Chicago Bulls, they also got a first-round pick from the Portland Trailblazers, which was actually a 2022 first-round pick, but this pick was lottery protected. So 1 through 14 is lottery, and that means that the Portland Trailblazers do not make the playoffs during the lottery, hence then the Portland gets to keep their pick. The thing is, though, is that these protections, if the pick does not convey, it just continues to go all the way down through 2028. Okay? Now, when it comes to this, if you're Portland right now, because you put all these protections on your pick, you cannot trade any of your first round picks right now because all these have to be protections. Okay, because let's say, this season, right, the pick's not going to convey this season because Portland's not making the playoffs. They're tanking right now, right? So they're going to keep their pick. So that means then in 2024, then maybe that pick conveys, but maybe they miss the playoffs again, and so then they have to wait till 2025 for it to convey. This can continue until 2028. So therefore, Portland cannot trade any of their picks, and any of them right now as we currently stand, because of the step-in rule, obviously, because you're seeing like, well, maybe 2029. No, step-in rule applies. Okay. So right now, the Portland Trailblazers, they are stuck. They cannot trade any of their picks. They have all their picks though, but they can't trade any of them. And right now, they're trying to actually win with Damian Lillard. They just wasted one of his best years, or his best year, of his career. So they need to look to actually trade these picks now, but they can't trade any of them because, again, the protections on the pick. So what Casey Johnson has been saying is, well, let's talk about this. I have also been saying this. Portland at some point is going to come to the Bulls and be like, hey, we want to lift those protections, because they want to at some point be able to trade these picks, right? But as I said, they can't trade them. But if you lift the protections on these picks, right, and can guarantee that a pick is going to convey to the Bulls at whatever year it is, then you can start trading away some of these picks. And the easiest way to guarantee a pick, right, is you just straight up take the protections off of it, right? So what would happen is that Portland would just call up the Bulls and be like, hey, we're going to take away the protections off the pick. It's not as simple as that, right? There's some other stuff that has to go through with it, but that would be probably the scenario. And then the Bulls, no matter what would happen, would get Portland's pick. Now, Casey Johnson was like, well, let's talk about another situation that could happen, because as of right now, the Portland Trailblazers, they got a pick from the New York Knicks in the Cam Reddish deal, okay? And I guess I should say the Josh Hart deal, because he's been the best player, okay? As you can see here, the Trailblazers acquired a lottery protected first round pick from the Knicks. And if you're not aware of the standings right now, the New York Knicks look like they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know where exactly, but it's a good chance that they actually make the playoffs. So what Casey Johnson is saying is that instead of the Portland Trailblazers just taking their protections completely off of their pick that has been sent to the Bulls, what could instead happen is the Portland Trailblazers will instead give the Bulls the New York Knicks pick this season, okay, in this year's draft, which would in general just be wherever that pick lands, right? And the Bulls, no matter what, we're gonna get somewhere in that range, right? They weren't like, it's not like the Bulls are gonna be higher in terms of where, if they just decided to wait for the Portland pick and they somehow conveyed, like, it's not gonna be any higher, right? And what Portland would do is they will give the Bulls the Knicks pick. So let's just say it's like 20th, right? And then Portland will be able to take all their protections off of the pick that was sent to Chicago, right? So then what would happen is all these protections on these picks here, right? As you can see, just all of this basically goes away. And now Portland is able to trade all their picks because they have full rights over all their picks now. So, in the end, the Bulls, they get a draft pick. They get a first-round pick, as I said, that they're going to get at some point from Portland. It just so happens to be the next pick. And Portland's able to take away all the protections and is able to go ahead and trade all their picks then. Okay? In my head, and I think in a lot of people's heads, this makes a lot of sense for both sides. I've seen some people say that it doesn't make any sense, but I don't know what they're saying. Portland clearly wants to win. And even if they actually decide to trade Damian Lillard, I think that they would like to have all their picks without the protections, because who knows? Like, maybe in 2025 suddenly there needs to be a trade that can happen, but guess what? You got protections on it, right? So I just think that in general, the Portland wants to get rid of all these protections, okay? And this year's draft, because the Bulls are not going to have a first round pick in this year's draft, but this year's draft is supposed to be deep. I think this getting a first round pick this year is very, very valuable. I truly think so. And I don't really even care where it lands. I just know it's not going to be it's probably not going to be, 24 through 30, right? So if it's anything below that, I honestly think that it is worth it if the Chicago Bulls go ahead and get that next pick, because I think this draft's deep. This draft is deep, and we would like to have another draft pick right now. To help keep building the team, right? Because I do think that AK and Mark Eversley, like, they're trying to develop players, but then they're also trying to win, right? They're not going to hit the full out reset button. So I would like to add another young player to the roster that is on a cheap contract and is team control for the next 9 seasons. So personally, I like this idea. I think that this idea is actually pretty realistic. I actually think that if you were to ask me right now, like, is it more realistic that Portland does this or doesn't do this offseason? I think I'd lean towards they actually do this deal that Casey Johnson has just laid out. Unless for somehow the Knicks picks, I just don't even think it's possible at this point. Unless that Knicks pick is 16 or something, like Knicks, or maybe even 17. I don't, maybe Portland decides no, but I just think in general they want to have their picks back, and this offseason for them is pretty huge one, and if they don't do it this offseason, I think they're wasting an opportunity. So to me, it just makes a lot of sense that they should do this. Let's see here. Front office can't be that incompetent to trade DeMar plus Caruso for 2 Grizzlies bench players, so the trade doesn't include at least 3 first-round picks. I don't know if it's going to include 3 first-round picks, but I at least want multiple, if that would be the trade. I think Portland's a good trade partner for the Bulls. They may overpay for DeMar/Vooch. I would also like that. I wouldn't mind that, obviously. If we can trade DeMar DeRozan for, hell, if we need a shade on Sharp, that'd be great. I don't think Portland's going to trade them, but even Keon Johnson, I like Keon Johnson. I would gladly take him and some picks for DeMar DeRozan. I just don't think that's going to happen, and also Yusuf Nurkic is there, so I don't think they're going to trade for Vooch. And they're so hell-bound on keeping that pick, we can give them a couple of picks to get Dame off their hands. Yeah, I would love that as well. That's not going to happen. Portland realistically should go the rebuild route, but who the hell knows what they're going to do. Here's the thing. I don't think Portland needs to go the rebuilding route. I'm being genuine here. I understand that this season absolutely sucked, and there's a lot of issues with the roster right now. But if you were to tell me that Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant are all guys that are 33 plus years old and they're just not going anywhere, I'd agree with you. But the fact that they're on the younger side, and I do think that Jeremy Grant resigns there, I'm not that overall concerned. Now, I do think that they should probably look to move Yusuf Nurkic if possible, and then try to use their picks, right? Use these picks right here that I'm showing you here to try to keep upgrading the roster, okay? I think that'd be a very solid idea. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Damian Lillard is playing out of his mind, and he keeps proving me wrong in terms of how long he's going to last, right? But I just look out west, and I'm like, I know Portland's down here right now, but let's just be real. They're 8 games out of 5th, right? They're not that far out. So I don't think the West, I'm aware that Phoenix is here, but I just don't think the West is dominated by 4 teams at the very, very top, and then there's no one else there. I think the West is really open, and who the hell knows what's going to happen in these playoffs, right? I think we're going to see a pretty big upset in terms of seeding. So I just think that Portland's not that far behind, and you've got a guy in Damian Lillard who's an actual MVP candidate. So it just, to me, doesn't seem like you need to rebuild. I think either way works fine, but it seems like Portland's hell-bent on sticking with Lillard, so I'm like, okay, I don't think that's a bad decision either. You just need to get your picks back, which, again, is why I think the Bulls, taking that trade was not a bad decision, because you're going to get a first-round pick from them at some point. It's not like they're doing anything to help Dame or themselves. They have a superstar in their hands, and they just refuse to do anything with them. It's like they got Oregon's Reinsdorf. They got something's wrong with my finger slam. Oh, yeah, I gotcha. That's a good analogy, honestly. Depends on who they land, I suppose, at that pick. Picks can't be traded till draft, right? So when it comes to, wait, sorry, for Noel, are you referring to Portland, or who are you referring to? I'm gonna guess you're referring to Portland, right? Okay, so when it comes to Portland, right? Let's say they make this trade with the Bulls, okay? And let's just say the offseason's over, or sorry, the finals have ended. We're about to head into the offseason, right? If they make a trade with the Bulls to loosen all these protections, they're allowed to trade their pick in this year's draft before draft night. They can do that, okay? There's nothing stopping them from doing that, okay? They're allowed to go ahead and just straight up trade that 2023 pick if there is no protections on it, because there's no stepping rules. Stepping rules not going to come into play here. So they can, in fact, if let's say they don't lift the protections, they could technically draft a dude and then trade him, but if they lift the protections off the pick, they can trade that pick before draft night. So, yeah, nothing to really worry about. So like you're saying, it depends on who they land at that pick. Like, that Portland could play it out that way. Like, even let's say they lift all their protections, like they could just be like, let's just wait and see who's around still. And because we could kind of wait and see like what place do we get in the lottery, and then we'll see who's available. Because here's the thing, like if Portland somehow gets into like the top 4, which is a pretty realistic opportunity, right? They might actually look to trade that pick and get some pretty serious value in return, right? Hence why I've been saying like they need to lift these protections, because yeah, they could trade that 4th overall pick, you know, after draft night, but it doesn't really do too much unless you have some extra things involved, right? You're not going to get a superstar or an all-star just from trading the 4th overall pick only, right? You need to add an extra pick or 2 on top of it, right? So if they somehow like get the 4th overall pick or something, and they're like, hey, let's trade it, then they're going to want these other picks involved as well. So Portland, yeah, they could wait. I just think that what's going to happen is once the offseason hits, I think they're going to call the Bulls. They're going to trade the Bulls that New York Knicks pick, and then they're going to lift all the protections off their own picks, and then they're going to move on from there and look to trade some of their own picks, right? Lillard's turning 34 in 4 months. He and his spring chicken. He can't wait like 3 to 4 years for them to mature to the point they can have a deep run. Jeremy's a complimentary Breeze 4th option and best top 17, which is why which was exactly what he was in Denver. So here's the thing. I think Anthony Simons is like, he's fine. Like I don't think he needs to develop much more. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like if Anthony Simons was in his 2nd year this season, right? And you know he has a long way to go. I agree with you, but I think Anthony Simons is like ready to win now, right? It's not just straight up, oh, he's still developing. Like yeah, he is still developing, but like I think he's ready to win now. And here's the other thing I'm also thinking about. Like maybe you don't even keep Simons, right? You can also trade Simons. Like trading Simons plus some of these picks, it's like a legit, like you can have a legit possibility to get another all-star if you do that, and a lot more too. So I'm just saying that like there are many ways for Portland to not go the rebuilding route. They could just do what they're doing right now and just not do anything and just let Dame write off for the rest of his career playing on a terrible team, right? But they could also, you know, talk with the Bulls, lift the protections, and then start trading some of their picks and some of their players, and then look a lot better. Can't you see the similarities between Simons and CJ? CJ was also in a point in his career where he was better than Simons overall. I see an absolute big similarity between what's happening between CJ and or Damon, CJ, and Damon Simons. It looks very similar, and it's pretty stupid because we know that formula didn't work before, and why is it going to work now? All I know is DeMar needs to be gone to help this team and people develop. I agree with you. Maybe Portland's a team that will take him off the Bulls' hands. I just don't think it's going to happen right now, because it seems like the front office don't want to trade him, which is pretty dumb. Yeah, Alex needs to be gone too. I'm fine keeping Alex. I'm not just going to trade Alex for 2 seconds. But if I get a first from him, I'm willing to trade him. I just don't know how much you can like. My thing about Alex Caruso is this: like, I'm aware that like we could trade Alex like now if we wanted to, but I don't know how many teams are willing to give up a first round pick for a dude that just can't really stay healthy, right? Like I think teams are aware of how impactful Alex Caruso is, but if he can't stay healthy, they're not gonna be willing to trade much for him, right? Pat will take Alex's place. Is that what he said? Is that what he said? Sorry, hold on. We need to keep one between Alex and Pat. Bet we can't have both of them gone. I agree with you, Unstoppable, that they should probably keep Patrick Beverley. They're both players that are getting injured, but Alex is younger and Pat Bev is more vocal in a goon. I just think that, like, with the value you can get from Alex Caruso and then how little money you need to pay Patrick Beverley, I think it's worth it to just keep Patrick Beverley. Now, I don't know, there's no guarantee, right? Because you might look to trade Caruso and then no team's going to give you a first round pick. In that case, just keep him. Like, it's more valuable for you to keep Alex Caruso than trade him for 2 seconds, right? But if a team's actually going to give you that first round pick, then I'm willing to trade him. Okay. With Beverley, here's what I'm gonna say. Like, yeah, Beverley has also had some issues of like staying healthy, but I think he does a better job in terms of helping the individual players get better, right? I think Caruso, like, he's for sure gonna be a coach one day, and he's gonna do a fantastic job of, like, you know, coaching up the defense and telling guys where they need to be. But I think on an individual level, he doesn't have that impact, right? Like, it just straight up, Patrick Beverley has clearly helped Zach. I do think that most of the Bulls' success recently is because of Zach, by the way. I don't think it's just straight up Pat Bev culture. I do think Beverley has helped Zach, but I think most of what the success is from Zach. Now, I think what Zach has, what I think that Beverley has done is that he has helped Zach unlock this level, right? And I think Beverley has helped guys like Kobe, helped guys like Patrick Williams on an individual level, right? Which I think at this moment right now, I think I would take that over what over, like, you know, the whole collective unit, right? Rondo should become a coach now that you mentioned AC. Now that you mentioned AC and coaching, we've seen actually Rondo has coached, like, you know, younger leagues, and I do think he's actually a really good coach. So yeah, I agree with you. Would you take a deal on Zach LaVine for MPG plus draft? No, absolutely not. I'm not trading Zach for Michael Porter Jr. And I mean, unless you give me 4 draft picks, but no team's gonna do that. I am not trading Zach LaVine for Michael Porter Jr. and 2 first round picks. No shot. Pat Bev's strong point is he knows how to get his teammates going. He is infectious. I mean, for sure. I just think also, like, here's the thing. Like, Patrick Beverley, what he has done is that he has helped guys understand their role. He has said to Zach, "You're here to score. Go put the ball in the basket at an elite level." He said to Patrick Williams, "You're here to be the best defender on this team. You need to be a good defender here, be a good help defender, and then also on the offensive end, you need to be taking those 3-point shots more, right? Or be just in general being more aggressive on that end, right?" Like, it helps when the roles are defined on a team, and I think Beverley does a good job of being like, okay, this is your guys' role. I don't think Caruso does that. I think Caruso is a guy that is, like, helping guys, you know, get to where they should be on rotations, right? Which is also valuable. I'm just saying that on a team that it seems kind of lost on already what the pecking order is, and then it seems like the role players are still trying to struggle, like, you know, what are we as role players? Like, I think Beverly's that type of guy that's going to help out in this sort of team. MPJ's loss number 2, William Happ. His back problems is no laughing matter. It's sad because he was crazy good before his back got destroyed. So let me just say this: like, I don't know if MPJ is gonna be Lonzo number 2, because I actually, like, genuinely think Lonzo's career is done. And I don't with MPJ, like, I don't think his career is gonna be, you know, in this much jeopardy. And, like, compare, like, anywhere close to how much Lonzo's career is in jeopardy, right? But I honestly think with MPJ, like, I look at him and I honestly do question sometimes how Denver's defense is, you know, stays solid. Like, now Denver's had some bad moments this season defensively, for sure. Like, they're not amazing defensively, but they're not terrible. They're closer to better than they're closer to being bad. They're kind of like hovering around 12th-ish, right? But Michael Porter Jr., his defense, I'm lost with him. I don't know what's up with him. But the other thing is this: I think Michael Porter Jr., in terms of his ability to actually create shots, it's nowhere near what Zach is, right? I think Michael Porter Jr., like, really relies on being set up for 3-point looks. Okay, a lot of his offense comes from 3-point shots, right? And I'm not gonna just suddenly sacrifice Levine's inside scoring for Michael Porter Jr., who I'm aware is a great scorer himself, but I'm just not gonna sacrifice Levine's incredible inside scoring and his ability to actually get to the basket and create his own shots at a much better level. Okay, again, I'm aware of Michael Porter Jr.'s abilities, but he does rely a lot on that 3-point shot. And yeah, he can score 20 points per game, but there's, I think, a clear difference between him and Zach right now, just straight up. Yeah, but his game theoretically is a 7-foot Levine, but his health is indeed a question. I mean, if we're really going to be talking about health here, like, I didn't even bring up health, right? I haven't brought health into this conversation. Okay, Levine has played in 71 games this season. All right, he's also played in 63 straight games in a row, or 70 games. This is game 71 tonight. He's played the most minutes of his career in any season this season. Okay, he's played in 63 games in a row. Michael Porter Jr., I'm aware of his health issues. Okay, I didn't even bring this into the conversation, but if we're gonna really talk about health, and look, there's a clear difference right now. Okay, I'm aware of Michael Porter Jr. I'm aware of what he can do, but again, there is a clear-cut difference between what Zach LaVine is right now and what Michael Porter Jr. is right now. I understand one's 24 and one's 28. I just don't think Michael Porter Jr. is going to get to that level. I don't. I think he's going to be a very good scorer in this league and a guy that is going to be knocking down threes left and right. I mean, hell, he's shooting 42% from three-point range this season, but he also shoots close to 40% from three-point range as this dude, and also he scores at the rim right now at a 71% clip. Like, I'm not giving that up. That's not something I'm just going to give up for Michael Porter Jr. right now. Consensus number 1 pick doesn't fall to 14 for no good reason. P.S. I was cheering when at number 7 he was still open, and then we got Wendell Carter Jr. If I was GM, I'd 100% go for the high risk ultra reward MPJ instead of Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, the way better talent is available. You can't get any worse. You may as well take your chances. I don't know. I personally I wanted Wendell. I just thought that he was the most talented person there, except for MPJ. But I don't know. I was personally concerned about Michael Porter Jr.'s injury stuff because I think what confirmed it for me was when Jerry West passed him up twice. Clearly, Jerry West got a better player, or drafted a better player at the time than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Eventually, that player was traded, but Jerome Robinson was also there for the taking, and he decided to pass up on him too. He decided to pass up on MPJ twice. So it just is, I don't know. It's definitely interesting to kind of look back at it. For me, I was fine with the Wendell Carter Jr. pick. I thought at that moment he was the most talented player. I was clearly wrong because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander exists. So yeah. Remember we talked about Jaylen Brown a few streams ago. Now that he has come out and gave his thoughts about Boston, how do you feel about maybe cleaning up cap room to get him? So Unstoppable, I don't know if you were here. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. So just saying, like, if Jaylen Brown actually wants to come to the Bulls, I'm all for it. I know that some people are like very much against him right now and say that if him and Zach together are kind of like two of the same players. Like, I get it, but like at the same time, I'm always just like, get talent here. And Jaylen Brown's shot chart looks a lot more modern than DeMar DeRozan and some other people. I'd welcome it. The issue is this. I don't think he's coming here. I'm aware he's saying all this stuff here, but I just don't think he's going to come here. But I said this Unstoppable that the Kobe White contract matters here, because if Kobe White gets paid a big chunk of money, then the Bulls are not going to have the cap space in this offseason to get a max contract player, right? Like, it's just straight up that's facts, okay? The only way that I can guarantee enough money if Kobe White gets a big contract and then we re-sign Ayo Dosunmu to a pretty big chunk of money too, is if Lonzo Ball's money is just gone. But I don't know if that's a guarantee we can just go ahead and say like, yeah, for sure is gonna happen. So yeah, I would welcome it. I'm not right now. I just don't think it's a very high chance. Now, I know Noel just said I'd prefer a point guard. I would also prefer a point guard. Hence the reason why I've been saying DeJounte Murray for the entire time here. Because who knows? Maybe DeJounte Murray, like, because he wasn't an all-star this season, right? And who knows if he'll be an all-star next season. But he might be willing to kind of take and make a few less $1 million to come to the Bulls, be the starting point guard there to play next to Zach. I right now, at least in my head, with how this team is kind of moving towards or like looking forward with Patrick Williams and Dalen Terry in the mix, right? I prefer that point guard over Jaylen Brown right now. That obviously could change. That could change, but I'm just saying that I do think that DeJounte has a higher chance of coming to the Bulls, probably fits better with the Bulls, and might even take a little bit less money. So we'll see. I think they're going to use the career ending for Lonzo Ball. So here's the thing, Unstoppable. I don't think they're going to do that. I think right now, like, first off, they're not going to do it for next season, right? Like, they're actually trying to get Lonzo Ball back for next season. Now, if Lonzo still can't come back after next season, then maybe they try. I worry that the NBA might deny that, right? Now, if that is the case, the last resort, if the Bulls need the cap space, is that you waive Lonzo Ball, you stretch and waive him. That takes his contract, you stretch it out over 3 years. The Bulls get about $12-ish million in cap space. So that is a last resort that could work. It just, I don't want to be paying Lonzo Ball, in 2027, which would have to happen, unfortunately. But, if that gets DeJounte Murray, I'm going to do it. So, there's that. I just don't think that it's going to happen. I don't think that the Bulls are going to do it, but we'll see. Sorry, I want to go back to what Box is talking about. I always say Wendell Carter Jr. is the best case scenario. Al Horford version 2, not bad by any means, not great either. So here's the thing, Box. I agree with you, but I just did not know about the other people's potential, right? I was looking at Wendell. I'm like, okay, if I get a starting caliber center out of Wendell Carter Jr., yeah, I'm like, I'm happy with that. I just did not know about everybody else. Obviously, that's just a bad, that's bad scouting on my part. But I don't watch college basketball, so there's that. Let's see here. Shea, Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges, MPJ were drafted after him, and I think all of them became better players and will be better going forward, minus the wife beater. Then Anthony Simons and 20-something Jim Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. No, Box, I agree with you. Like I said, I did a terrible job of scouting, but I don't watch college basketball. I just, I just said that with Wendell, like, I can see a dude that I know is going to be a starting caliber player. I don't know about these other guys, right? So I'm obviously wrong. Like, I just said Shea before you even brought up Shea, right? Yeah, Shea's a superstar. There's clearly something wrong there, right? And then, looking back at it, I would obviously like to have Mikal Bridges right now. Miles Bridges, we don't need to talk about him. I'm aware of Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, but those are second-round picks, so those don't matter. Like, we're talking about guys that went in lottery or close to lottery, and you brought up the guys correctly. So, yeah, like I said, terrible job by my part, but that's just what, at the time, I'm not, like, here's the thing. Like, I could lie to you guys right now and say that, yeah, I didn't like the Wendell Carter Jr. pick either. Like, I could lie to you guys, but I'm here telling you that I liked it. Like, I'm being truthful. I know fans that will be straight up lying to you guys right now and saying, no, I'm always right. I didn't like the Wendell Carter Jr. pick at the time, but I'm just being truthful, okay? I'm not saying that I'm not saying that what I thought back then was right. I was clearly wrong of what I thought. So yeah, I just know that I'm admitting that I was wrong. Just know that, please. Let's see. I think Wendell Carter Jr. stealing is what he's doing now. I agree with you. Vanderbilt, Gary Trent Jr. Yeah, he's a good off-ball shooter as well. Okay. Sorry. Can another team sign if they do that? Lots of ball I'm talking about. Unstoppable, yes, they could. I just don't know why any team would do that, right? Why would it? So if let's just do this hypothetical, okay? Lonzo Ball is out for all of next season, okay? Then he is at no point next season is there any sign of him coming back, right? He's still trying to come back. He's not, calling it a career yet. He's still trying, but he's still not back, right? He's nowhere close back. And then the Bulls stretch and waive him. A team could go ahead and sign him. I don't care. But why would a team go out and try to sign him, right? I truly don't understand why a team would go out and try to sign a dude that has not played in 3 seasons, and it looks like he has to end his career soon. If Lonzo, if let's say the Bulls have DeJounte Murray, he's willing to come here, but they don't have the cap space, and they stretch and waive Lonzo, and then somehow Lonzo Ball suddenly comes back after not playing for 3 years and is able to come back and play and be healthy. You know what? That's a L I'm willing to take. But if we're at the point at that, like, in 2024 offseason that Lonzo Ball has not played in the past 2 seasons, has not played since December of 2021, or sorry, January 2022. Like, that's way too long. I mean, we just paid the dude $40 million to sit on the bench. I'm willing to go ahead and just get rid of him. I'm. It sucks. And look, I'm not saying to just not pay him. He's gonna get paid. I just don't even think that he is going to be anywhere close to returning anytime soon. And if he shows no signs of life in 2023, 2024 season, and then come 2024 offseason, he's still nowhere close to returning, I'm just straight up saying I'm stretching waving you. You can go to another team, and you know what? Good luck to that other team. I just don't think it's going to get any better. I'm willing to take that risk. Am I back? All right. I think I'm back. Hi. I think we're back. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we're okay. Sorry, I just suddenly my internet just decided to sputter out. So, I do apologize about that. I looked over and I dropped, I think, 500 frames in a matter of 5 seconds. So that sucked. So yeah. Anyway, though, just saying. Like I said, if the Bulls have DeJounte Murray, then and they don't have enough cap space, but they can get enough cap space if they waive Lonzo Ball or stretch and waive him. I'm willing to take the risk, even if he somehow, goes to another team and somehow does well. I just don't think he's going to do that. I honestly think we're at the point now that we really need to start considering Lonzo Ball's career being in jeopardy. And I don't think enough fans are at that position just yet. Only players thought were worth drafting besides MPJ everyone knew about were Mikal and Mitchell Robinson. I'm not that informed about college players either. I didn't like Wendell Carter Jr. though. Yeah. Now, I don't know if Lonzo could ever return to game shape after that many surgeries on that knee. Oh, I agree with you, Noah. I just think that Lonzo Ball is going to get a 3rd surgery on that knee now, and just for this meniscus tear, or everything that's happened, the bone bruise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I truly just think that he is nowhere near game shape, obviously, and even if he somehow is able to start ramping things up, he is. I think he's just getting injured again. I just don't think his knees can take that pressure. So, yeah, I'm just saying this now. I think Lonzo Ball is just dead money right now for the Bulls. It's a sad way to look at things, but I'm also aware that this Bulls team is going to be down $20 million every single season. That sucks, right? That's $20 million. I'm not here for that, right? Like it sucks. It's a hard decision to make, but that's where we're at, right? Let's see here. More of a feeling than anything else. A couple of games I saw versus Kansas and Syracuse, I wasn't impressed. Even with Syracuse, where he had a good number. If you watched the game, I didn't get a good feeling. Okay, I gotcha. Isaac fouled out quickly, but he was bullying him. Okay. Yeah, because we're going to gamble after a certain point. At least it's not as bad as Ben Simmons. Yeah, that Ben Simmons situation, I don't know what's happening with him. His back is injured again. He fell off a cliff. Yeah. I think they need to play Carl Jones a couple of these games to see if they would want him on this team. What he's doing in the G League is a whole totally different thing from the NBA. Well, here's the thing, Unstoppable. Carl Jones is signed. They signed him to a 3-year contract. So Carl Jones is no longer on the 2-way contract. He was signed to a actual NBA contract for the rest of this season, and then he was signed to actually a 3-year contract that is non-guaranteed for every season. Okay, so if you look here, his money is here for next season, but it's fully non-guaranteed. So if he stays on the team, he makes this much money. If they waive him, it costs nothing. So this is a very low risk, high reward type situation for the Bulls. I think Carlik Jones is a point guard in the NBA. I said that if the Bulls did not actually lock him up this season, that he would go on another team and be an NBA point guard for some team next season. Not be a starting point guard, just be an NBA player for some other team next season. So I was happy to see that the Bulls actually locked up Carlik Jones. I don't think that he is going to be the starting point guard for this Bulls team anytime soon. But, if I'm just saying that Io's, as much as it pains me to say this, Io's, job is not secure. I don't think Io's job is secure by any means right now. And if Carlik Jones is able to come in and be that, 6-man point guard off the bench, fantastic. I think that'd be great. He needs to get NBA minutes, though. I'm aware he needs to get NBA minutes for sure. As of right now, probably not. The Bulls are trying to get into trying to make sure they get into the play-in, and so there's no time for Carlik Jones right now. But he'll obviously be here for next season. He'll be at training camp. He's going to get opportunities to play a lot of minutes, probably in preseason, and then he might even get an opportunity to play some actual NBA minutes at the start of next season. So I don't think Carlik Jones is going anywhere. I truly think that he is an NBA talent that the Bulls will want to keep around because his game is very, very good, and I love watching him. And I've checked in on him for the Windy City Bulls time to time, and he has impressed the absolute heck out of me. So I want him around for sure. I think he could be for the team. I think Carlik Jones would be fantastic for this team if he can take what he does in the G League, which is being a pick and roll threat, being an actual pick and roll guard that can play make, that can shot create off that pick and roll, but most importantly, be able to penetrate the paint. Like that's awesome. Like that is something that this Bulls team desperately needs. They need guys that can actually get into the paint that are not named Zach, right? Carlik Jones could be fantastic for this team. Like he can legitimately be, in my opinion, like a big spark plug off the bench. And I also think his ball handling is like really solid. So like we don't have to worry about him turning the ball over. The only issue with him is that he is small, right? He is not a very big guy. He is 6'1", he's 185 pounds. That's the only thing that is concerning, right? That's honestly it with him. He does a really good job though of getting into the paint and still finishing, even though he's pretty small. So that's not an issue in my opinion. When we look at G League overall stats for him, he's looked overall pretty solid from 3-point range as well. This season he shot 35% on six attempts from 3. That's good. Like there's no issues with that, right? There's no issues with this number right here. Also 7 assists. I'm aware of the 2.5 turnovers, but that's not too big of a deal. So I just think that he'd be a really good fit on this Bulls team. Again, though, he needs to get NBA reps, as we all said, but I can really see him having a good fit on this team moving forward. I'll be right about Carly. I get Antonio Blakeney vibes. Minus the passing, Blakeney was G League God that season. Okay, I'll just say this. I'm aware of Antonio Blakeney and his amazing play in the G League. Carlik Jones is much more of a point guard, right? Blakeney was very clearly a scorer. That's all he was. He didn't do anything else. Carlik Jones, in my opinion, has shown a lot more of how the game is played today, right? Antonio Blakeney would do this thing where he'd drive and then he'd turn around and shoot a fadeaway mid-range shot. And I'm just like, huh? And he make them from time to time. It doesn't look really good. I think Jones has shown more than Blakeney in his time in the G League. I think Carlik Jones has shown that he can actually run an offense. I think he showed that he can effectively run the pick and roll, because what Blakeney could not do is run the pick and roll, right? Antonio Blakeney could not do crap off the pick and roll, right? If you have a dude in Carlik Jones that can at least just be a good passer and a good playmaker off the pick and roll, that's already better than Blakeney. So I'm not saying that he's going to have a bigger role on this, like a huge role on this team. I'm just saying that he can get NBA minutes and be an effective player, especially off the bench. So to me, I like this deal. And guess what, guys? I'm aware if you're concerned about him, fine. But if Carlik Jones is not a good player for whatever reason, the Bulls get to waive him, and it counts nothing towards the cap. So I'm just like, I'm not scared about this, right? Like, if he truly is a bad player, if he truly is Antonio Blakeney 2.0, well, you waive him, and it counts nothing towards the cap. So I'm just saying that there's nothing to be worried about when it comes to Carlik Jones. So yeah, I don't think there's anything to really be worried about with him. Again, I think he's gonna come next season. I do think that he's gonna have some sort of role with this team. I know I don't smoke it. We just signed him to fill the roster spot just in case. I think that's part of it. I also just think though that they were looking at Carly Jones and they're like, hey, we want to make sure you have an NBA contract on this team next season, because if they let him go in, if they let him test free agency, like, we know that he's going to get a contract, right? He played too well to not get an NBA contract. So I think that, you know, they wanted to be able to lock him up now, then wait and see come free agency, right? And guess what? If we need that roster spot that he's taking, then you just waive him. So yeah, I just see a lot of flexibility with him. Again, if we need to drop him, we drop him. There's nothing that's going on here that is a big issue. Honestly, just good for him. Like, he's on a 2-way contract. He played very well. He got to an NBA contract, and if he continues to play well and continues to be good, he gets paid an actual guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but an NBA level type contract that is just slightly above the minimum. So it's really good for him, honestly. Also, I like this, that the Bulls, they went back and then re-signed Justin Lewis. Like, I think that was cool of them to do that, because I do like Justin Lewis. I think that he is going to be a good player. It sucks that he tore his ACL. So, you know, go ahead and re-signing him was a good thing. And then next season, you know, he'll be under a 2-way contract again. So yeah, we'll bring back Justin Lewis. And then I also like the Terry Taylor pickup. Like, I think when they were able to use that 2-way contract on Terry Taylor, like, that was a good decision too. I know Malcolm Hill has, I don't even know what he's actually done, but I know he hasn't been that impressive, unfortunately, for the Windy City Bulls. So, you know, doing this was I think a good decision. So he played 17 games, 15 points over 15 points. It was okay. So yeah. He's also like 25. I can't bring to memory a lot of, if any, 6 feet dudes that suddenly had a breakthrough at 25 plus. Just for conversation's sake, we got more pressing matters anyway. Oh, I mean, I agree that we have more pressing matters for sure. I also am aware with Carly Jones that he is 25, but like, let's also be real here. Like, he didn't, like, I don't even know how to. Is there a way to go from this to like college for him quickly? I don't know if we're able to do that. But like, all right, here we go. Like, you see here, like, he played until he's 23 in Louisville. So he's a guard that played there longer, right, in college longer. So it's not like he suddenly is coming out and as a young guy and didn't get an opportunity. He played at college for a long time, and so it doesn't shock me that he hasn't had much of an NBA opportunity, right? So this is the reason why the G League's here. And, you know, he got an opportunity last season because of COVID. And then obviously the Summer League, he took advantage. So this is what it is. Splitting hair about 12 roster spot player. I'm not splitting hairs about this. Like, I truly, like, again, Carly Jones, whatever. Like, I think that he actually has an opportunity next season because Dragic obviously is no longer here. I think Beverly's going to be here. You might trade Caruso. Obviously, we don't have Lonzo Ball here. So I'm just saying that there's an opportunity potentially next season. And then if they, go out and trade DeRozan and they potentially, don't re-sign Io, who knows? Just saying. But yeah, other things to talk about. Unstoppable, about Marco. I think for now, it's a very similar situation to Carly Jones. So next season for Marco, this is non-guaranteed. So as you can see here, if you want to see if any player's money is guaranteed, just look at this, right? So for example, Zach, $178 million, $178 million guaranteed, right? For Marco, 1.8 million, and then 0 guaranteed, right? So I think it's going to be one of those situations with him that you look at it, and if you need a roster spot or, whatever, if there's a trade or whatever it is, you can go ahead and waive him. I think their plan is to keep him for next season, and see how he probably does in Summer League, and then how he's going to do in training camp. If he's more NBA built and is actually going to be competent enough to play at an NBA level, then they'll keep him around probably. If not, I think he's probably gone. Because like this is just too long that we're kind of waiting on him. So I'm not exactly thrilled with how the Simonovic thing is going, but at the same time, it's a second round pick, and I know with second round picks that it's a big hit. It's a lot of misses and a once in a while hit. So if Marco was just a miss, he's a miss. And I just don't think that's a big deal. I know that we're limited on draft capital, and so you like to hit on a second round pick. I'm just not that concerned if Marco is going to be a hit or a miss. So yeah, we'll see how it all works out. I truly hope it does work out. When he was playing for a Megabasket Serbian team, I saw in a much worse version of young Vucevic. 2 years later, he is still a much worse version of young rookie Vucevic. That's a good comparison. So yeah, I like that comparison. I think what they saw with him was like, because what Marco does actually pretty decently is that he dribbles the ball pretty well, right? So they're probably looking at him like, okay, if we can actually develop you, like you can like fit into this modern style game pretty well, but obviously you need to get bigger and rebound better and potentially work on your defense and work on your 3-point shot, because that 3-point shot is too inconsistent. He's made strides. I'm not saying that he's not improved at all. I think he's improved. Specifically at this pick and roll play. I think his pick and roll play has improved a lot in the G League. But I still just see a lot of things to go, and a lot of it's just about physical capabilities, right? I think his rebounding still needs work. I still think that his overall strength needs work. And just ability to finish in the trees. I just think it needs work. I think what he's done very well is that his screens have improved tremendously. He's not just slipping everything. He's rolling hard to the basket and creating and getting himself open. And I think in transition, he runs the floor very, very well and can either be a passer or a finisher in transition. And I think that's very, very, very good. It's just that if I throw him out there in that second unit against any other second unit, I know he's going to get destroyed. So there's just stuff that he needs to work on still. I just don't know how patient I'm going to be with him, because it's been 2 years now that he has had no point in the league, and he's 23 now. He's gonna be 24 next season. You gotta show me something at some point, right? So yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Can't wait to see Justin Lewis. I think Justin Lewis is gonna play very well in the G League next season, and then again, another guy that fits in the modern style that I think could help this Bulls team in the future. Every 5 decades you get a Jokic, though. Yeah, that's how the second round picks work. You drafted Isaiah Thomas at 60, and then you got some other guys that get drafted 31st overall that you never see again. Remember Deontay Davis? I haven't heard about him in a while. Don't remember if we talked about this, but how do you feel, Vooch? Sorry, I for some reason there's this stupid emoji thing that keeps cutting off your guys' chats. Hold on, let me just. Hold on, I just want to press this and let me see what happens here. Okay, sorry. 1 second. I don't remember if we talked about this, but how do you feel, Vooch? Sorry, what? How do you feel Vucevic will walk? Because I do. Oh, got it. Okay, there we go. So I also think right now, as of right now, Vooch is. I think his first priority is to look for another team. I think that if he would return to the Bulls, he understands that he's not going to get paid as much, and they're not going to use him as much in the offense, right? So I think Vucevic's first priority is to go and look for another team, which is not ideal, right? Because I don't want Vooch here personally, but if I would like to at least get something back in return for him, because obviously we traded a lot for him. Now here's the thing. If you look at this upcoming offseason, there's not a lot of teams with salary cap space, right? There just truly isn't. Now, a big reason why, in my opinion, is because you look at the 2023 free agents, there's just not a lot of good free agents. Like, I mean, I'm aware we can talk about Russell Westbrook and, Kyrie Irving, but let's just be real. We know Kyrie's going to LA, and Russell Westbrook is not getting paid a ton of money. D'Angelo Russell's like the next guy I would think would be on the list, right? As like the, number 2, which is still not great. like he's not really an all-star. Like he's not guaranteed all-star. So it's just interesting to kind of look at. So a lot of teams are not ready to spend this offseason for a reason, because there's not a lot of out there. So when it comes to Vooch, if he's actually looking to go to some other team and they agree on a contract, I think it might actually have to be via sign and trade. So it might end up working out for the Bulls. So I personally don't want him here next season, but I can also live with him being here next season and then we trade him later. I just don't want him here. I don't want Vooch here guaranteed 2024. The 2024 offseason, I want Vooch gone. For sure. Guaranteed 100% he's gone. If he's back next season, so be it. I'm not going to be complaining too much. And honestly, there may not even be a better decision for the Bulls. Like, you know, their best thing this upcoming offseason is either getting a new point guard or just keeping Vooch around for at least this upcoming season. That's fine. But yeah, 2024, I just want him gone. I just hope he doesn't just walk in free agency for nothing. That would be a big L if he does that. That'd be a serious issue if Vooch just walks in free agency to another team and the Bulls get nothing in return. I would not feel very good about that. Let's see here. I have a belief he's going to ask for a raise, and we want to keep him around $20 million per year. If you don't use him as much in offense, you might as well let him go or sign and trade him. Again, as I said, I would like some value in return for him. I would like to sign and trade. Just it's not a guarantee. I agree with you that he wants a raise. His contract right now, obviously, is about $22 million. And it is $22 million. And salary cap goes up every single year, right? He signed this contract at a long time ago when the salary cap was different. So he would like a raise. If I'm the Bulls, I'm like, I want you around $20 to $22 million. I'm not going to give you any more money. So if that's the case, then if Vooch is not going to accept that and he wants a bigger role and bigger paycheck, then you might look to go somewhere else, right? In the offseason, I think the front office needs to change the development team, and they need this bad. Too many good players they let develop and ball out someplace else. Let's see here. So here's my thing about when it comes to the Bulls development team, unstoppable. First off, with Wendell, I don't think the Bulls did anything wrong with Wendell. Okay, I think what Wendell did here and how eventually he developed, like, that was kind of the plan in general with his development. Okay, reminder, we traded him when he was 21. All right, it's not like, you know, he was here for 4 years and didn't do anything, right? And then suddenly he goes on another team and is just suddenly balling out because he is, you know, 24 years old at that point as well. That didn't happen, right? He was 21 when we traded him. I'm aware it was his third season. Or what was it, second? I honestly don't even remember. But I'm aware of what happened, all right? I believe it was his third season, but he was 21 years old, okay? He went to the Magic the rest of the season. Like, yeah, he played better, but it wasn't like astronomically better. Now, what he's doing this season, I do think he's played better, but again, it's not like, you know, he's turned into an all-star. Now, when it comes to Laurie, that's a big difference. I'm aware of what happened there, and it's because what happened in terms of what happened with Laurie is that the Bulls, they play a 90s level style, right? You know, Laurie, if you look at how the Jazz, you know, play their offense, right? It fits Laurie's play style perfectly, right? Here, he's, you know, shooting mid-range shots, he's posting up, etc., etc. He's not able to play his game, right? So I don't necessarily know if it's about, like, if it's more so about development or if it's more so about play style, right? Because remember, here, I don't really know. Like, you can legit argue it's more about the play style for this Bulls team than it is about the development for this Bulls team. You could argue that play style is involved in development, and that, you know, that could be a legit thing. But I just think that when I look at Laurie, it's just difference in play style. Thing is, he's going to complain with $20 million. Lon's getting paid $20. He doesn't even play. You expect me to take a pay cut? Yeah, I can see that with Vooch. Hence the reason why I expect him to look to leave this offseason. Honest question: do the Bulls ever? I'm gonna guess that says hire. Sorry, I'm being completely blocked by this emoji thing. It's like a new thing in YouTube chat. I don't know. I can't see. Or do the Bulls even have a shooting coach? So I think the Bulls actually do have a shooting coach. I just don't know who it is. I truly don't. I don't know who it is. Honestly, I don't even know if they have one. I do think they do have one though. Yeah. There was reports when AK took office that he was shocked at how little staff they had and how little development that they had. Like, I see more coaches and more staff just in general on that bench now. So I do think that the Bulls have upgraded it. I don't know how much though, but I do think that they did upgrade it. And I do think that they actually have a shooting coach. I just don't know who it is. So yeah. I remember people complaining about how we are one of the few teams that don't have one. I think that was true at the moment when the complaints happened, but I think they went and fixed it. One of the very few or only one. Like yeah. That's just I don't know if I can just even look at this. Like, does this even come up? Greg Hodges is the first thing that comes up. Okay. Cool. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So this is from the 2020-2021 season when the Bulls officially made all their changes, right? So Billy Donovan's officially here. So here is Henry, Ronnie, Ty, Max were brought in as player development coordinators, okay? So you have 4 people coming in new, right? 4 new people coming in as player development coordinators. I don't know if they're still here, but they were here for the first year of Billy Donovan, okay? I like Mo Cheeks. I think Mo Cheeks is a very good coach. I also think John Bryant is also a good coach. I do not know much about these other 3 people listed, but between Mo Cheeks and John Bryant, I think they're very good coaches. At least for what they do as assistants, right? Yeah. Who knows? I don't know exactly, like, because look, this says player development coordinators. Any of these guys could be coaches. Any of these guys could be the shooting coach for this team. So it may not just say it, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It may still be the case today. It honestly could be. Yeah. They need to hire that shooting coach to fix Lonzo Ball's shot. If he can fix 20, if he can fix Zoe, he can fix anybody's law. I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, but I also just wonder though, like, how much is that about, you know, a coach being on the staff versus how much the players actually willing to put in the time and effort, right? Like, I think one of the biggest things that I look at with with Kobe is that he is putting in the time and effort in the offseason, right, to work on things. Because, like, a shooting coach can help you throughout a season, but I don't expect a shooting coach to be helping out a player every single week in the offseason, right? That's just not going to happen. So, to me, I think one of the biggest things that I look at is who has trainers. Like, who has those personal trainers that are actually going to go out and help them? Like, we know with DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White and Zach LaVine, those 3 guys, they all have trainers out there that help them every single time in the offseason, right? They go to them in the offseason and they work on their games. And then to me, it's not a shocker. It's really not a shocking thing to me to see that every single year that Zach's been here, he's added something, right? He's always adding something to his game. That you can argue last year was different, but like, he's consistently improving, and it's because he has a guy with him, right? You know, seeing Kobe go ahead and work out with DeMar's dribbling coach, like, I think that's huge, right? What I don't see is 100% Patrick Williams working out with Drew Hanlon all the time. Like, I think he's worked out with Drew Hanlon a little bit, which is Zach LaVine's coach, or personal trainer, but I don't think he does it as much as Zach does, right? So I do think that it comes down to, especially when it comes down to like the fundamentals of shooting, I think it comes down to just who goes out and gets a personal trainer in the offseason. Because they're the one that's the time where you can seriously make adjustments to your jump shot, which is what Lonzo Ball did, right? Like, Lonzo, I'm aware that the Pelicans, they really helped him, but Lonzo spent an entire offseason working on his jump shot, and that's the reason why it suddenly looked better, right? It's not just because, oh yeah, we hired a shooting coach and they're here now and suddenly Lonzo's shot got better. it's a long process. So I just kind of look out for that, because I know that like P. Will went with DeMar for that week of hell or something, but I don't know how much P. Will did after that, right? Just kind of points out who's really doing stuff, right? Henry Demercant, I know him. He was playing in Europe. He was a shooting guard, scorer, and shooter. But is he coaching anything for the Bulls, or is he another kind of role? Okay, he is the head coach for the Windy City Bulls, so no shooting coach in him, Ellie. Okay, gotcha. All I'm just going to say is that I do think that John Bryant has done a good job with the player development. He's the guy that coaches the Summer League team. I think he's done a good job with these guys. I'm not saying this Bulls development staff is perfect. They're far from perfect. They need work. But I also just think that the play style is a big part. Like, it plays a big part in how players look, right? And so these guys, honestly, they might be developed fine, but they don't get to show it because the play style isn't going to reflect it, right? So in the end, I'm just going to say this. I think personally, like, I know people are going to disagree with some things here, but I think Patrick Williams this season has shown a lot of good development, okay? I know that some people had higher expectations for him, but I did not expect him to come in and suddenly be averaging 18 points per game when you have Levine, DeRozan, and Vooch on your roster, okay? I did not expect that, but what Patrick Williams has done this season is suddenly his three-point shot, right? Which I know some people say that he needs a shooting coach, which I just disagree. His three-point shot is over 40%, okay? I'm not worried about Patrick Williams' three-point shot right now, all right? So there's that great development. I also think his defense has improved a lot this season. That's good development, okay? Again, he is 21 years old, okay? And this is technically his second season, all right? So I'm not concerned about him in terms of his development. I think he's on a good path right now. I think Kobe also developed pretty well. I know that the numbers, I'm going to talk about his inconsistency all the time, but overall his skills have been really solid, right? I think they developed at a really nice rate. So I think he's developed well. I also think that as much as people hate that Dalen Terry, including you, Unstoppable, has played in the G League, when I look at Dalen Terry right now compared to Dalen Terry during the preseason, okay, I see a much better finisher at the rim, a much better player in terms of using his length and athleticism on the defensive end already, and I see a much better guy that has the ability to actually go downhill and finish through traffic already. Going into the G League, in my opinion, was a great decision by the Bulls. He is not going to be up here and playing good enough minutes or consistent minutes or be put in the right positions to develop correctly if he was playing with the team every single day, right? Going down to the G League, getting some time with the basketball, being the main guy down there has allowed him to develop a little bit more, and I think we're already seeing some of the stuff now. So, to me, the Bulls had three guys, in my opinion, develop pretty well this season. I'm not saying that Patrick Williams, fulfilled everyone's expectations, because I'm sure people thought he should be, averaging 17 points per game and being a Defensive Player of the Year candidate by now. But I just think that Patrick Williams is an OG Anunoby 2.0, and with the way that he is progressing, he is on that path. So I think that's fine. With Dalen Terry, I like already what I've seen in terms of his improvement, and I think going down to the G League was good. Now I do think next season he needs to play up here, but this year I think they did a good job with them. I'm aware that Ayo Dosunmu is probably the one guy that we're all looking at as you did not develop at all this season. And the funny thing is that we talked about how much Ayo was supposed to improve this past offseason, and he has gone backwards, right? So, it's interesting, right? I think, with Ayo, and, you can also throw on Marco if you want, maybe they haven't developed, but I'm just saying that I think there is more positive development than negative development on this Bulls team this season. I'm aware that the questions are there, but I think for this season, I'm not exactly that concerned. Now, if you talked to me last season with how Kobe, was developed and his inconsistencies and, how Patrick Williams unfortunately did get injured, but then also some of the things that he did when he came back. Like, yeah, we can have a serious conversation, but I think for this season, I think the player development was overall a positive and not a negative. I think people are crazy that think people can do that being the fourth option. Oh yeah, I mean, look, Unstoppable. If you go back and listen to the Bulls Talk podcast and listen to what Tony Gill from NBC Sports Chicago said that he wanted to see from Patrick Williams, he said stats that have only been done by one player in this league, and that player was Cat. Okay, it was something outrageous. It was like 16 points per game, like 8 rebounds, like 4 assists, a steal and a half, and a block and a half per game or something like that. Like, those specific stats have only been done by like one player ever in this league, and Tony Gill was just like, yeah, what I want to see that from him, because that shows me that he can at least be a starting caliber player. I'm like, what? Like, that is straight up ridiculous what Tony Gill said. But people, not just fans, not just the Joe Schmo on the street, people that work for NBC Sports Chicago, the broadcast place that actually broadcast Bulls games, the people that work there and do most of the Bulls content, they had a guy that is in charge of the Bulls content team say that, right? So I'm not just saying that it's people just on the street and Bulls fans. It's actually people that have legitimate jobs covering the Bulls. That's how ridiculous it is, right? So I just want to make that point, that people actually think that should be the expectation. That's not the expectation, right? I wanted Patrick Williams to come in and be a good defender and be a good role player, right? So yeah. So no, not Kendall Gill. It's not Kendall Gill. I know there's a Kendall Gill on postgame and pregame and postgame, right? But this is Tony Gill. Okay, Tony Gill works for NBC Sports Chicago. If you want to look up his Twitter account, which by the way, he tweets out some random stuff every single time. This is Tony Gill. I truly don't like his analysis. I think his analysis is pretty bad. But as you can see right here, I produce and create digital conversations for all these places. But he is part of the NBC Sports Chicago Bulls Talk podcast. It's not Kendall Gill. It's Tony Gill. Okay. But if you go back and listen to expectations for the season, he said that stats that again have only been done by Cat. Like, there are very few players that, or I think it's only Cat, and maybe I'm wrong, but he put unrealistic expectations on Patrick Williams, and everyone's like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm like, what? No shot. Yeah, this shows you that sometimes that people really are in positions that don't deserve it. Let's see here. He isn't even clear-cut fourth option. He has 0.6 more shots than Kobe and only around 1 more shot than that. He's depending the game anything between the fourth to the sixth option. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think he is the fourth option right now. I think if we had to name a fourth option, it's Kobe White, which is, I don't think, a good fourth option. Dumb when you trade when you trade DeMar, you'll see that. I mean, maybe we'll see that. I don't think we're ever going to see that, though. I think that's a ridiculous expectation. So he expects to put up all NBA type numbers to prove he can start. Yeah, again, it was just Tony Gill being like, he doesn't like Patrick Williams and wants to see more from him, and he's like, I need to see this. I need to see, in the most improved player conversations. I'm like, bro, like, come on, let's just be real here. Like, I want, Patrick Williams to be in those conversations for sure, but it's not gonna happen, right? I'm realistic about it. And Tony Gill is out here just being like, no, I expect this. And he put that on the Bulls Talk podcast, one of the biggest podcasts about the Bulls, and just said with a straight face, like, come on, man. So yeah, you don't believe me? Go back and check in. It truly was stupid when I heard that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. What kind of bias does one have to demand that kind of insanity from a 21-year-old guy who isn't even the fourth damn option? Wow. Yeah. because I think what he was looking at was like, okay, Anthony Edwards just put up 20 points per game. LaMelo Ball is here and was just an all-star, right? Like, he sees that and is like, okay, well, that was the first and third overall pick. Then the fourth overall pick, I need you to do something close to it. I'm not saying all-star. I'm just saying, something close. And I'm like, that's not just something close. Like, that is like a All-NBA defender type level player plus a pretty decent third or fourth option. Like, that is like saying that he is one of the best two-way players in the league at that point. If you're telling me 16 points per game, like 8 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and a half, and a block and a half per game, like, that is straight up just stats that put you at two-way level elite status. Like, I don't know what he's thinking. So yeah, just saying, like, I know that sometimes I may sound crazy when I'm just like, oh, like, I heard this. A lot of the stuff that I hear, it comes from people that work in this industry and get paid to say stuff like this, right? So I just think that when I brought up Joe Coley all the time, and he says all sorts of BS, right? I think Tony Gill is one of those guys that I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't think he's ever been realistic with whatever he said. I honestly, I will say this. I know Tony Gill does not write for NBC Sports Chicago, right? He doesn't write for them. Rob Schaefer, like, I was seriously upset to see that Rob Schaefer was let go by NBC Sports Chicago. He does a fantastic job. And this dude, if you do not know, he graduated from, I believe it was Illinois State. I could be wrong. Maybe it was Northwestern. But he, some college in Illinois. He graduated with a photojournalism degree. And he got hired to be part of the Bulls beat and for NBC Sports Chicago, and he did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, he does not have a full-time job. He is currently freelancing, as you can see here, Sports Journal for Hire. He is freelancing. He is writing articles for MA.com from here and there, but what he's really doing, honestly, is stuff like this, okay? This is what he's doing. He's doing threads, right? And he does a fantastic job. It's sad to see that NBC Sports Chicago, they decided to let him go when I think that he is one of the best in the business in terms of covering the Bulls. I truly do. And then, just saying, like, I'm not saying fire Tony Gill. I'm just saying, like, you need to figure out what exactly we're doing here at NBC Sports Chicago. I think Casey Johnson does a great job as well. I'm not saying Casey Johnson's worse. I think he does the best job ever. But it's like, we have Tony Gill and then we have Rob Schaefer. Which one are you going to choose? Right? And I don't really know what Tony Gill does, but he's on the Bulls Talk podcast a lot. And to me, it's a big question mark why he's even there. So, don't know exactly what he's doing. Or what NBC Sports Chicago is really looking at. Not all players develop the same. Not all players are equal. Kawhi didn't have the kind of numbers until he was already in 4th, 5th year next to great teammates and the best coach ever. And a team that's QB for 20 straight years. Yeah. I believe Kawhi wasn't drafted by the Spurs right now. He wouldn't be anywhere near the player he is right now. I'm 100% sure about that. Oh, I totally agree with you. Like, if Kawhi Leonard did not have Tim Duncan and did not have Greg Popovich, like, I think he would have become a very solid player, like maybe an OG Anunoby type player, right? I don't think he would have become superstar, though. I totally agree with you. It's not going to get picked into the perfect situation. A great club that was actively competing. Hall of Fame teammates that weren't self-absorbed. And a coach who is considered to be the GOAT coach. Yeah, I mean, a lot of superstars say that they would not be a superstar unless for this coach or, this specific mentor, right? Why? Not only he wasn't just picked there. The Spurs traded George Hill for him, right? It wasn't like the Spurs just picked him. They traded George Hill for him. That's how much they were like, no, we're going to develop him, right? So, yeah, just shows you again, as you said, situations matter. And I'm not saying that the Bulls situation is bad for Patrick Williams by any means. I'm aware of his lack of aggressive mentality that he kind of typically has. So, if that's the case, then he's probably not going to be a superstar. And so the Bulls, they have to develop him correctly so that he doesn't, shrivel away, right? He needs to become a very solid player, which I think he will become a very solid player for this team in the future. Again, he's 21, guys. Like, He's 21 now, technically his second season. Like, he's 21. I'm not gonna be full out saying, oh, can't be like, I'm aware he's coming off the bench, when Caruso's available. I don't think it's much of an issue right now, though. So I'm being patient with it. Just saying though, like I know that time, like, we don't have all the time in the world, right? Because, like, if we're actually gonna keep Zach around, which I want them to do, by the way, I'm not trading Zach for Michael Porter Jr. He's 28 now, right? So I think Zach's prime is obviously 27 to probably 31, right? So there isn't exactly, a ton of time to just, wait around for these guys. But I do think that, like, around Zach's age 30 season, which is going to be the 2024-25 season, like, I truly can see guys like Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry truly being developed along a good enough path where the Bulls could be in, playing some very serious basketball in that season. And Zach, is right in the middle of his prime. I am aware how much Zach does rely on his athleticism. So I don't know how exactly his prime is going to last. Like, I don't think it's going to probably last. Like, he probably is going to, I think at age 33, he'll be good. We'll see about age 34. That's kind of where I think he might drop. But, and when I say drop, I'm just saying, like, no more all-star level type play. Zach's going to be in this league for a long time because of his shooting ability. And let's also say that his athleticism was already at such a high point that as he starts to go, his athleticism is going to be better, still be better than a lot of other people, right? So I think Zach's time in the league is going to stay for a long. It's going to be for a long time. But his, all-star level play, I just don't know how long that's going to last. But I do think at bare minimum, we're going to get all-star level play until he's 31. And who knows, maybe after, like, we might even get more than that from him with the way that the game is played. So just kind of stuff that we're really looking into and seeing if we can develop these guys, right? And so then they'll be playing with Zach, right, at a high level, and we're actually playing meaningful basketball, like serious basketball. Let's see. The situation couldn't work for any other players with the mentality of, let's say, Anthony Edwards, who came into the league wanting to take 20 shots a game. Yeah. There are a lot of variables that come into play when we talk about player development, character, mentality, size, strengths, and weaknesses. Can you improve the strong points and lessen the weaker ones, et cetera, et cetera? It's never ending combo, but it's not like A or B and end of story like some pros make it sound like it is. And not even just pros, right? Journalists, right? Or coaches, right? They'll say, it's A to B. This is how it works, right? And it's really not. There's gonna be ups and downs, right? Like, I think with Zach, like, I think a lot of people, I think what kind of happened with, when it came to seeing development, right? If you look at Zach, right, from first season to this season, we saw just increase in numbers. Development. We can just see it with our own eyes, and then it's on the paper, right? This sort of thing that I have like this right here, this isn't every single player, right? This just isn't every single player. There are players that it's going to take time to develop for them, and there are going to be seasons where they average more points, and then they'll go the other way, right? Like, it's how it goes, right? With Zach, for him, right? We saw him just be better, right? It just every single year he was better. Like, I just think that just can't be said for every single player, right? There'll be players where they develop every single year, they get better till year 3, then year 4 they maybe not, and then year 5 and 6 they get better, right? It just happens. Team friendly deal, basically Kobe White. Yeah, team friendly deal needs to happen with Kobe. If not, I'm letting him go. Also, learning curve. It's not the same for everyone. That's why we got early and late bloomers, and it just goes on and on. Nothing is set in stone. Yeah, totally agree. Again, I get with Zach. It's like we see it. Like, we just see it with our own eyes. It's like, oh my god, this look at him develop every single year. Like, I get it, right? But I'm also just aware that Zach LaVine's an all-star, right? And the dude is a workhorse. So him being at this all-star level, it's not exactly shocking to see that he kind of got better every single year. Guys that maybe aren't all-stars or don't have the potential to be all-stars, their development might be a little bit more, ups and downs. Like, it's not just going to be linear, right? People fail to recognize or accept the amount of hard work Zach put in so he can be where he is right now. Oh, people still do not. It just drives me insane how people have said, like, they just don't accept that Zach has put in this much work. Like, I don't think people understand that if you have a guard that scores this many points per game and shoots this well, like these percentages here, like, they're good. These are fantastic percentages to have, and this dude has put in so much work to get to this point. Okay, I truly don't think people have really understood what this guy has done to get to this sort of level, and it truly is bothersome to see it. But everyone's gonna complain. I get it. I just wish that the people that say, like, Zach hasn't done this or whatever, they put that energy to maybe some of the other players that really have not worked on their game, right? So, yeah. Or that you can't come into the pro league after you've been rehabbing the whole offseason and be on point. It takes time to get back in basketball rhythm and shape. People are really expecting Zach to come back guns blazing when he had no offseason practice. Yeah, there are still people denying that sort of claim also. I saw someone today that, like, they're just like, well, he should have been doing this from the very start. I don't know why he wasn't, but at least we're seeing it now. And then someone replied to him saying, like, well, he had off-season surgery. There's a reason why he didn't get off to that good of a start. And he's like, maybe that's it. I don't. And like, he just sounded like the reply was very questionable. Like, saying, like, nah, that's not a good theory. Like, bro, I could not believe when I saw that. I'm like, guys, he got to a bad start because of the off-season surgery. Like, it's not just the fact that, like, he had surgery. It's more so the fact that he had to rehab after the surgery, right? And so that he's not in game shape come the start of the season. That's the biggest thing, right? His knee's fine, right? But it's just the fact that he is not in game shape. And I tell people, you can get out of game shape very quickly. Okay, this is the reason why I'm scared about Lonzo, man. Like, Lonzo is gonna be so out of game shape if he ever comes back. But Zach's not in game shape, and he typically plays 5-on-5 in the offseason, right? So if he's not in game shape, then it takes him a while just to get back into game shape, and then after that, then he can start, finishing better at the rim, getting his jumping ability back. Like, that's when the extra comes in, right? That's when we see the athleticism come in for him. But that first month and a half or so was just about him just getting his legs underneath him again. Like, his conditioning's not the same. His legs probably don't feel the same. He probably doesn't have the same lift, right? That isn't saying that he hasn't worked at all or saying he's being lazy in the offseason. That's just because he had surgery and he had a rehab, and rehabbing is nowhere close to playing basketball, right? It's nowhere close. And I tell people all the time, like, you can practice all you want. I don't care how long you practice. There is nothing that will ever come close to actual game. Okay? You cannot, simulate a game in practice. The game itself is always going to be much more intense and much more strenuous than a practice. Even if you play 5-on-5 in the offseason with other people and it's not even practice. The game itself is more taxing than just a 5-on-5, right? Or even a competitive 5-on-5, in a rec league or whatever. Like, nothing ever comes close to an actual game. So, when it came to Zach, I don't think people really understand that these guys aren't robots and they're all human. Like, yeah, I would have loved to have seen Zach be averaging 29 points per game from the start of the season. That'd be fantastic. But I also knew that was not going to happen. I knew he was going to struggle. But I said this to you guys. I mean, hell, there are people here in this chat that I told this to. Like, I know Unstoppable was here when I said, look, I know Zach's struggling, but I'm keeping him around. I have faith that he is going to return to form. Like, I did say that, like, if his lack of finishing was permanent, then yeah, we need to start having a conversation. But I'm not going to deem it permanent until I see until after January that he is still struggling. He started getting back to form in December. Like, it wasn't like the month of November was pretty rough for him, but that was it though. Like, December, he had a pretty solid December, but people just forget about that because the team was losing, right? But the very same people are so fast to come and apologize for DeMar because his quads. Yeah, that is the other thing. Like, when DeMar is, he's hurting, quote unquote, like it. Yeah, they'll say like, oh, he just got back from his quad injury. Like, I hate that. Like, if you're gonna be, I almost swore. If you're gonna be hating on Zach but not hating on DeMar, there's something wrong with you. You're just playing favoritism at that point. They're the perfect fans for Reinsdorf. He loves those guys who hates high paid players. They were fine when Zach was producing superb numbers for a sorry, he got cut off. He got cut off again. Hold on. For a score for the premium of just 19 million. Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone was happy with Zach when he was making $19.5 million and scoring 27 points per game, right? But when he got paid, all of a sudden it's that, why can't you stay healthy? Blah 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 blah. Like, guys, I don't know what to even tell you at this point. Zach was gonna get paid. I don't care. And guess what? Zach LaVine right now has played more games than DeMar DeRozan. Right at that point. Okay? Now, everyone's going to always say that DeMar DeRozan is a peer worker. He never gets injured, and he deserves the max contract over Zach for some reason. Ask Joe Coley. He said that at the beginning of the season for some stupid reason. Zach is playing more games than DeMar DeRozan. They had no argument at this point. They just straight up dumb. All right. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about because I want to talk about the Portland game. I did not stream after the Portland game. That was late. I know it's late tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging with me tonight. I know it's late. It's late as hell. I have a class tomorrow morning as well, but I'm sticking through this with you guys tonight. But I do want to talk about the Portland game just a little bit, and then I want to talk about the Lakers game. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch the Lakers game a lot. I guess you could probably see I'm back at school, by the way. So Sunday was me traveling back. So my spring break is over. So you can see the background is different. But I want to talk about the Portland Trailblazers game just a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the Lakers game because I did not see all of it. I only got to see a little bit of it, but I want to point out a few things in that one. And then I think we can call it a stream then, if you guys are cool with that. I have a few other things that I do want to say maybe at the end of the stream in terms of like announcements and stuff. But yeah, and then we'll call it a stream after we talk about these few games. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I mean, there are some fans that got convinced that the youngest MVP ever who incidentally made us relevant again after a decade that was overpaid and avoided to play and started booing. Yeah. That's how it goes, man. It's truly amazing how quickly Chicago fans turn on people. Like, I don't know if you guys are White Sox fans or whatever, but like Tim Anderson is our all-star shortstop. He was an all-star last season actually, but he was injured for more than half the season, and all of a sudden everyone's turning on him. And I'm like, guys, if we're gonna be turning on players, it shouldn't be the guy that is a two-time all-star, right? The guy that I know is actually gonna produce. So I'm sorry to use the baseball analogy, but it bothers me when I see fans. They always start blaming the guy that has consistently produced, but like he may not just he's not producing at the very moment, but like he's gonna produce, right? And with Zach, it was just like they're seeing, oh, he's struggling, his knees cooked, etc., 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 and they're like, oh, he sucks, shouldn't have got the max contract. Well, I'm like, guys, we know he's going to produce. Like, we know he's going to be fine. But they just didn't want to give him the time of day. Same thing with Derrick Rose. Like, Derrick Rose, when he was, I guess we could say when he was playing, he produced. Maybe not at all-star level, but he'd still be there. There's other people that we can complain about instead of just saying, or just complain about the guy that is getting paid the most money, right? As long as the Bulls beat the Lakers on Wednesday, I'm happy. I'm also with you, Cucklord. If the Bulls beat the Lakers, which I said about the whole three games against LA, you had to win 2 of the 3, right? I said if you win 2 of the 3, you're looking good. I also said that, though, without thinking you're going to get the Philly game or one of the Philly games. So you got one of the Philly games. So ideally, if you get 2 of the 3 LA games, you're looking very solid if you're the Bulls. They did that to the City Kid, who was an MVP and revitalized the team. They will do that to anybody. Oh, for sure. Yeah. You were so fast to go into let's blow it up rebuild mode. Like, do you even like the Bulls? Because I'm sure as hell they ain't watching this 15, 16, 17. Oh, I guarantee you that there are so many more people talking about the Bulls now just because they're not rebuilding, and there was nobody watching when Paul Zipser was starting for this team. Like, they were not the same people. I went through those years. I watched Denzel Valentine and him not perform very well, even though I like the pick. So that's another pick that I didn't do well with. Yeah, just straight up, just disgusting. We had a few crazy ones that watched all of it. Yeah, we did. We definitely absorbed all the pain. All right, let's talk about this Portland game quickly. I want to talk about then after that the Lakers game, and then we'll wrap it up. So I thought the Bulls did a fantastic job against Portland. DeMar DeRozan obviously was not playing. So I do think that kind of everyone's like, oh god, okay, we need Zach to perform, we need guys to step up, and I thought in this game that Vooch and Levine they did a perfect job. They stepped up, they were the 2 main guys, and we saw them do a fantastic job. Obviously Portland did not start anybody. No Lillard, no Simons, no Grant, no Nurkic. Not a lot of guys playing, right? So Bulls just had to come out and take care of business. They did that. They were able to then rest Levine and Vucevic. I know they both played 30, but Levine and Vucevic could have came in at the end. If the game was close, they would have had to come in and play like an extra 6 minutes. So just the extra 6 minutes honestly could have been a big factor in that Lakers game. But I thought Levine and Vucevic did a great job. Unfortunately for Patrick Williams, he did not have a good game in this one. He was 3 of 12. I did notice that the Bulls, they were running plays for Patrick Williams, right? They were running plays for P. Will to like get isolation attempts. Like there was a horn set that the Bulls ran, and it was basically acting as if Patrick Williams was DeMar DeRozan, and they're like, okay, go ahead and try to score. And I watched it, like, I think the execution was fine. It's just that this type of game showed me that it just kind of reinforces my idea that Patrick Williams is OG Anunoby and not Kawhi Leonard. He can obviously develop his shot creation game, but the moments that Patrick Williams was given to shot create or, look to score, he couldn't do it. It just did not go well. So, again, I'm fine if Patrick Williams becomes OG Anunoby 2.0, I'm happy, okay? I just think that's where he's headed for now, and I think that's fine. And I think this type of game kind of showed it, unfortunately. But we also saw Kobe White had a great game. Io showed up in this one as well. So props to the bench for doing a really good job in this one. Big thing for me was this. Just look at the shot chart, right? Like, it's not that big of a shocker to me that the Bulls, they had 124 points, and you just kind of look at the shot chart, and you just kind of see, a kind of a difference in normality, right? Are you catching my hints? Right? There's a big difference in this shot chart compared to many other shot charts we have seen this entire season. I'm aware of this against a Portland team that sucks. I'm very much aware. But I just look at this and I'm like, interesting. We scored 124 points, and look at that. Amazing. Wow. Interesting. Anyway, though, yes, DeMar DeRozan was missing. Hence, there was not a lot of mid-range. And the biggest thing for me was this. I thought Vucevic was going to the basket most of the time, right? We saw Vucevic, he took some outside shots that were mid-range shots, as you can see right here. But the biggest thing for me is this. This is most of his shots, right? Paint looks, okay? Like, I know Vucevic can do this, right? If he can do this in this game, then he can do it in every game. I just, like, these shots just don't make me very happy. But if most of his shots are in the paint, we're looking fine. And so then you look at Zach LaVine's shot chart, I thought was fantastic. I thought that these mid-range shots were actually necessary. They were all for pick and roll drives that did not go anywhere, unfortunately. So you just decided to take the mid-range. That works out. But you see here that this is the type of shot chart I want to see with Zach. restricted area, threes, right? And then you take the mid-range if necessary. So yeah, just overall good stuff. And then one more shot chart I want to show you is Kobe, because I thought he also had a great game. Mostly 3-point range. He did take a mid-range and he made a shot at the rim, but if he's mostly going to be shooting his shots from out here, that's thumbs up. Thumbs up for me. I thought Kobe, again, had a good game in this one. Again, I'm aware Blazers, they sucked. No one was playing, so, you know, take it as a grain of salt. 52 points in the paint for the Chicago Bulls. And then, if I'm remembering correctly, they made 16 threes in this game. 17 threes in this game. The 28 shots was not ideal, right? I think that I would like to see more threes, right? But if, as I said, if you're not going to shoot the three ball, you got to get into the paint more. And we just see in this shot chart, right? We see in this shot chart how many shots the Bulls decide to take in the paint. So, again, if you're not going to shoot the three ball, you got to get into here, right? And the Bulls did that the entire night. They were just drive into the lane, get inside. Doesn't even matter, right? So, yeah. I do think that the Bulls did a great job in this game. So, modern basketball, or I should say more modern. I shouldn't say completely modern because they only took 28 threes, but it was more modern. A lot more to get to the basket. Bulls took advantage of no shot blocking for Portland. So, awesome stuff in this one. I was happy to see the Bulls just come out, take advantage, not give Portland any sort of opportunities, and they did just that. Now, Sunday's game against the Lakers, we saw the Bulls. It was like a back and forth game in terms of runs. Now, big thing for me is that the Bulls did a good job of withstanding those Lakers runs. I was able to catch some of that second half when I saw the Lakers try to kind of pull themselves back in it. The Bulls, they then went out, they responded. So that was really good to see the Bulls kind of handle the adversity when, you know, we saw some things go kind of bad, unfortunately, for them. But as you can see here, if DeMar DeRozan's back, you just see mid-range come back in. So if he's here, this is how the game is going to get played, unfortunately, if you're the Chicago Bulls. This is what it is. Bulls still got 50 points in the paint, so that's still good. They shot, I believe, 31 threes it was? Yeah, 31 threes. They made 14, so still a good percentage. I would still like to see you shoot more. Biggest thing for me, though, was the defense. The defense just, when I was watching, they looked pretty solid. Again, I was not able to watch this entire game, but overall, pretty good stuff here. I thought Zach was just, like, if you want to talk about, like, a perfect game from Zach, besides, like, those 2 turnovers he had at the end, which one of them was not his fault, by the way. I don't know what it is with Stacey King, but, like, every time Zach turns the ball over when he's double teamed, it's like, you got to pass the ball quicker. But then anytime DeMar DeRozan turns the ball over when he's double teamed, it's like, someone's got to come to the ball and bail out DeRozan. I don't know what it is about Stacey King, but the first turnover for Zach was when he ran a pick and roll with Caruso, and he tried to feed Caruso the ball when he got doubled. That's not on Zach. That's on Caruso or just the others for not being open, because Caruso made himself available if Zach threw both of the defenders. So either way, though, you want to talk about a perfect game from Zach? It was this game, because he just was straight up attacking. I only took 5 threes, but yeah, it just seemed like everything was going right for him in this one. Again, I like to see this a little bit higher. I like to see this at very minimum 8, but you know, he made 13 and 19, so I'm not gonna complain too much. So yeah, just biggest thing for me in this one was the defense, man. They did a really good job defensively. And I know Troy Brown kind of had like a revenge game-ish. It's kind of weird. When I saw this, I was like, Troy Brown with 18 points, what? But that happened. Now, Vucevic got ejected. I did not see that happen live. I did go back and watch that clip of Vucevic getting ejected. I have said all season that the officials have sucked, and it truly is disgusting to kind of see the officials be this terrible. I thought the officials were bad last season. They have been worse this season. I hate the double standard because Vucevic doesn't really talk a lot, but then suddenly when he raises his voice once and he's not even swearing in English, he's swearing in Serbian, they tee him up twice. It's a stupid way to officiate a game. I think the officials need to do a much better job. I've been calling for the NBA to discipline officials or to give them consequences for poor officiating. It is time for that to happen. I'm happy that the officials have a union. They should have a union, and I'm glad that they have one. But my God, just because, you know, a lot of teams have, or a lot of people have unions for the job that they work for, but if you don't come to work or you don't do your job at your job, you get fired, and the union has no way to protect you. So I just think that, it's time to start, disciplining these officials. Not saying fire them. I'm just saying to give them consequences, because the poor officiating is really getting to a point where I can't. I am very upset with the officials. So Vooch did not deserve to get ejected. Luckily for the Bulls, everyone stepped up in his place. And big shout out to Andre Drummond, because Drummond had to start in place of Vucevic. He did a really solid job. I know that a lot of people don't want to see Drummond play 18 minutes per game. I don't, right? But he did a good job of stepping in. So good stuff there. I'm not going to talk about too much about this game because I didn't watch most of it. So yeah, there's that. I'll go back and watch this one probably at some point. But yeah, I don't really know what happened in terms of, or I don't know much about this game, unfortunately. Let's see. Vucevic, make more space for DeMar. This is why his shot selection is so different in games where DeMar plays. That's why I think it's going to be hard to get rid of him for 28 mil. Yeah, I agree. I can see the Blazers doing that when the Bulls get the next pick. Yeah, I also can see that. He does bring what modern teams need for a start. He is way too expensive for a 6-man, which would be the ideal role. Sure, creating the role. Yeah, okay, gotcha. DeMar needs to get the ball in his hands, dribble to get to his spot. People need to make space for him. We get slower. We get more predictable. People playing next to a ball stopper eventually get disconnected. Stacey's one of the fans I mentioned above. He is so fast to turn on Zach and will always find excuses and become inactive, apologizing for both DeMar and Vooch. Yep, it's stupid. I didn't even feel like he fouled LeBron. Everyone else was swearing he did. He got a tech for a minimal complaint, which was, I got fouled before and no call, and said something in Serbian and instantly got sent to the locker room. Yeah, I saw that whole entire clip and I was shocked to even see that ejection. So I'm kind of shocked that the NBA didn't rescind that technical, or at least one of his technicals. So yeah, again, just terrible job by the officials. I think it was the flinch at the ref that got Vooch ejected. I think the ref should get fined. I've been saying that, if let's just say, for example, because remember when Jason Tatum, he got called for a technical foul, and it was just because he went like this, right? The NBA rescinded that tech from Jason Tatum. I've said, if you do not know, every technical foul that a player or coach gets, it results in a fine. Okay, it's $1,000 fine. I think personally that if the NBA rescinds a technical, that the official that gave them that technical in the first place should pay that $1,000 fine instead. Like, I know that the fine gets taken away, but the official instead should pay $1,000 in fines, because they legit have the power to give out $1,000 fine to these guys whenever they want to, right? So I personally would be all for that. If official calls a tech on a player, that tech gets rescinded the next day, the official has to pay $1,000 fine to the league. I think that's how it should work. But I'm not in charge. I also think that officials, if they have like a terrible game, if they miss like a blatantly obvious call late in the game, the last 2-minute report comes out and then they're going over it all, but then this was like one play was blatantly obviously missed and they saw it with their eyes and everything, they should be suspended for probably for the rest of the week or something. Like, I just think this would just lead to better officiating in general, and a lot less officials just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna tech you up because I can, because that's what I think what happened with Vooch, right? Like, if they called one technical foul on Vooch, okay, I can maybe see it, but the fact that they give him 2 is just stupid. It's straight up dumb. So I think if the official has to be punished for giving out bad tech, then maybe Vooch only gets 1 in that situation, and probably gets none, right? And that official just wanted to give him a technical foul just because. Yeah, just terrible officiating all around. Refs are terrible. Yeah, I was watching the Lakers broadcast. They were showing Isles self block from the rim as a LeBron highlight. I don't even know what that is. I was going to look at that. Meanwhile, LeBron literally elbowed Zach's head, and that was a late call that didn't even bother to review to upgrade it. Lots of terrible calls or non-calls in that game. I did see that. LeBron hit Zach in the head. That probably should have been called a flagrant foul. At the bare minimum, a flagrant 1. But because it's LeBron James and because it's the Lakers and the officials suck, it wasn't. So yeah, they got the Lakers were terrible. We were set up to lose, and the Fakers were just refusing to win. Yeah. So Wednesday's game is going to be very interesting because we are at home. We should have the officiating advantage, but that's not how it goes. Yeah. The biggest, I think, surprise for me from this game against the Lakers was that the Austin Reeves did not like have that many free throws, right? Austin Reeves, like, recently has been averaging like, a ton of free throws per game, and it's truly annoying to see when that happens. Like, I'm not saying Austin Reeves has been bad or anything. Like, I think Austin Reeves has done a good job, but he would not be getting these calls if he was on any other team, right? It's just because he's on the Lakers, he gets all these calls, and it drives me insane. He does not deserve this many free throws that he's getting. Okay, so I just hope that this all gets worked out. Eventually, it's not. But for the Wednesday game for the Bulls at the United Center, Bulls need to come out and not foul a lot, because we know the officials are gonna give some stupid calls to the Lakers. So make sure you don't get in foul trouble. And if you do that and you play your good defense again, I think things will take care of business, because we know the Lakers offense isn't exactly that good either. Biggest thing also was this: the Bulls had an incredible, or sorry, oh, it's not going to show, is it? I'll go back. But the Bulls, I believe they had 34 points off Lakers turnovers in that game, right? Like, that's an insane number to even look at. Oh, it's not going to show it. Crap. Let's see. Might be under summary, actually. Yeah, so points off turnovers. The Bulls... Wait, what? Oh. Anyway, I thought the Bulls had 34 points off turnovers in this game. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Yeah. I don't know why I don't know why it says that. That's weird. Sorry. I don't know why. I'm guessing this is points off turnovers, and it says Lakers had 34, but I think that should be flipped. I think this should say the Bulls had 34. But anyway, fast break points was at 15. That was good. Yeah, don't know why it says that. So yeah, Bulls just in general, they were just outrighting the Lakers, and so we know the Lakers that they can tend to be really slow. That's how you win against the Lakers. So good job in general. There, I feel we get the officiating advantage. As a European who watches a ton of basketball, it feels like we get the short end of the stick 99 out of 100 times. I think that the Bulls typically get the short end of the stick. Yeah. And, like, I know that we've had Jimmy Butler on the Bulls before, and, like, he draws a ton of fouls. But, like, even when we had Jimmy, or, like, even when we had Derek, like, I think the Bulls, what happens, and it's so ridiculous, like, they get called for, like, a phantom foul every single game. Like, there's a foul that gets called against the Bulls that makes absolutely no sense, right? And it's like, where's the foul? And we're like, what? And it ends up somehow becoming crucial in the end, right? I remember this one, like, with Joakim Noah. Like, Joakim Noah will get called for a foul, and it's like, we can't have him in foul trouble, right? And somehow he'll pick up an early foul that's like, that's not a foul, and ends up biting us in the butt. So yeah, I think the Bulls are typically at the short end of the stick most of the time. Now, Lakers fans say that they're on the short end of the stick all the time. If you look at the numbers, the Lakers get the most amount of free throws ever. So I don't know what Lakers fans are talking about. Honestly, they're good. Austin Who Reeves versus the Magic, 18 free throws. Zach, also a national team gold medalist, living / professional scorer, shot 17 free throws versus the Grizzlies. That's the most he has shot. Yeah, that's how it goes, and it's stupid. A foul was called on Pat Williams versus the Lakers on a Beasley corner 3, where Patrick literally had no contact at no point whatsoever. Yeah, how it goes. So I always think there's like a phantom foul that gets called on the Bulls, and then at the end of the game, I just think the Bulls never get the call. Now, I remember when Jimmy was here, Jimmy would typically get the call at the end of the game. I remember there was a game where Jimmy shot a mid-range shot against the Boston Celtics, and Marcus Smart was called for a foul by touching his elbow, like just barely. And so Jimmy got to shoot 2 free throws, and the Bulls won the game. That was back then. Now, I think the Bulls always get screwed at the end of a game. I just think that nothing gets called, and this is the reason why I've always said that you never drive to the basket at the end of a game, because you're not going to get the foul call, right? So I just think at the end of the game, the officials just don't call anything for the Bulls. They just straight up how it is, unfortunately. The last 2 minute report has said that the Bulls have gotten screwed over more in the last 2 minutes than the officials have helped them. There have been times that the officials have helped the Bulls in the last 2 minutes. I'm not saying that it doesn't go the other way. Like, there are times that the Bulls do get helped by the officials in the last 2 minutes, but most of the time, you look up the stats. Most of the time, the officials got a call that they called something wrong that went against the Bulls in the last 2 minutes. So, yeah. Another foul was where LeBron stepped on his foot under the rim and pretended he was shooting for good measure, and they called it a foul worth the free throws. I didn't see that either, but yeah, that's stupid. It's how it goes, right? That's straight up how it goes. We know with Lakers, when you're playing the Lakers, the officials are always going to be in their favor. So just gotta limit those opportunities. And I think that the Spurs have always been kind of like the team that does like the best job against them, because like they show their hands, and so that the officials literally can't do anything about it. Yeah. When we talk to Lakers fans and they cry about officiating, tell them to watch 2 series. Yeah. Yeah. 99, 2000 Western Conference Finals versus the Blazers, and then 2001, 2002 Western Conference Finals versus the Kings. Yeah. Yeah. Kobe elbows Bibby's face, and the Kings got called for a foul. Yeah. There's one play that I just remember. I saw this play and I was like, Kevin Durant screens Curry foul. Crap. It's not gonna show up, is it? So there was a play, I vividly remember this, that Kevin Durant set a screen when he was on the Warriors, and he basically hooked Curry's arm. So Curry got stuck on Kevin Durant, okay? And they're teammates. So Curry got stuck on Kevin Durant, and then Curry was flopping and waving his arms and everything. And then I think they were playing the Pelicans, and the Pelicans got called for a foul. That's when I knew the officiating was taking a turn for the worse, because the official straight up, if you just looked at it, you knew that KD was the one that hooked Curry, and it wasn't the Pelicans player. I remember that so vividly, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. That was the time when I'm like, oh god, we're the officials are heading for the worst, because that was a vividly obvious that KD was the one that grabbed Curry, and the officials got it wrong. So, yeah. Warriors and legal screens, name a more iconic duo. I'm aware of the legal screens and the Warriors at what they've done. But, forget illegal screens. I'm just talking about this specific play. That was unacceptable. And I think the official that called that foul should have been suspended for a week. Or even longer. Suspended for a month, for God's sake. Because you legit just called a foul against the Pelicans, and they didn't even touch the Warriors. That's how bad we've gotten, unfortunately. Logan, Zaza, Draymond, Steph, Looney, and now they all live off legal screens. Oh, they do. Sometimes they're even moving in a way where they're blocking 2 players at once. It's hilarious. Yes. That's how it goes. Just shows you officiating is garbage. Alright. So, talked about both those games, so we're gonna head towards the end of the stream here. Again, I do want to say thank you guys for staying up with me this late. It is 2:30 where I am, and I am gonna just tell you guys that are here now about this, and then I'm gonna be sending this out in the community posts on this channel, so you can, if people aren't here or if they didn't watch the VOD, they'll also see this as well. So again, one more time, thank you to all you people that have been here throughout this entire stream. If you could hit that like button if you haven't already, I really appreciate it. So we are getting close to the end of the season, right? Sorry, my nose is stuffed. We are getting close to the end of the season here for the Chicago Bulls. Now, I do think that the Bulls are going to be in the play-in tournament, so it's not just going to be, after the 82nd game, we're going to be done. I do think that the Bulls are going to get one more game at the very minimum here. So, that I'll be streaming post-game for that. But whenever this Bull season does end, right, I have been trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing, right? I do think that we can always talk about here, we always talk about the playoffs here on this channel, which I'm always going to be down to do. So I'll stream from here and there during the playoffs when the Bulls are eventually, out of the playoffs. We can talk about it here. And I do plan on, for the draft, and then for the first day of free agency, I do plan on streaming on this channel about the Bulls, okay? But I'm aware that come off season, or even just come playoff time, that it's probably not going to be, because this channel is algorithm for Chicago Bulls, right? So I don't want to, sway away from that too much. Like I did that trade deadline stream, but I do think doing the playoff streams will be cool, but I don't want to be swaying away too much from Chicago Bulls stuff only. So free agency and draft night, I'm just focusing heavily on the Bulls, okay? But what's going to happen in between those times, because there's going to be a lot of dead moments then if that's the case with how this is going to go, right? And how am I going to keep up with you guys and everything? I don't want to lose this following or this community that I've built and say goodbye, in the middle of May after the playoffs are done, and I don't see you guys until September or August of the next season. So I don't want to do that, right? So I have a couple of plans going on right now, all right? I want to let you guys know about this now for the 5 people that are still here. And then obviously, again, I'm going to put this out in the community when this happens, okay? But I am a big White Sox fan. I am not an overall Major League Baseball fan. I am a big White Sox fan, though. Now, I'm going to be making a channel probably for the Chicago White Sox. And it's not going to be as in detail as this channel. Basketball and the Bulls are always my number one. But that channel is probably just going to be me for ranting about the White Sox, as they always fail. And they never fail to get me upset. So that channel is just strictly going to be for White Sox content. If you're interested in that, again, once I send out the community post, whenever I do that, you can go ahead and subscribe to that channel when that is being announced, okay? But that's not announced at this time, and that channel is not public yet, okay? So that channel is going to be going live pretty quickly, or pretty soon, okay? Because baseball season, if you're not aware, White Sox, their first game is on Thursday. I am not going to be doing post-game streams on that channel at all. Or at least that's kind of the plan for now. But I might do a stream here and there. Also, it's probably going to be more video-oriented, so just be on the lookout for that, okay? If you follow me on Twitter, you're going to 100% see me talk about the White Sox. I know people that follow me on Twitter, they probably only think about Bulls, but if you see here, I have put in the White Sox as well. So just be prepared for that if you are following me on Twitter, that I am going to be tweeting about the White Sox too. So just be prepared. Now, the other thing that I am planning on doing is, I've said this earlier before, and I know you guys responded about this, and you guys are actually interested in this, but I am planning on making a gaming channel. And this is probably something that is going to be done a little bit later down the road. So again, White Sox baseball is coming Thursday, so I need to make, or get the White Sox channel public pretty quickly. But when it comes to the gaming channel, it's probably gonna be something that's a little bit down the road, all right? And when I say gaming channel, if you guys don't know about that, if you guys don't know about gaming, I am big in Valorant. If you don't know what Valorant is, it's an FPS shooter. If you know what CSGO is, it's similar to that, but it just looks a lot better. I'm not saying it's a better game. I actually don't know if it is a better game, but I am big in Valorant, not just in terms of just playing, but also analyzing Valorant. I also analyze Valorant the same way I analyze basketball. So I am planning on doing a gaming channel that is going to have videos for Valorant. It's going to have streams of me playing probably Valorant and also breaking down Valorant. And you're probably going to be introduced to a lot of my friends as well on that channel. So get prepared for, especially when the basketball season is over, that I'm going to be on that channel a lot more. Because baseball season, it can get a little bit boring. But I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I officially am going to have the ability to do that sort of gaming channel come later a little bit down the road. And when I say down the road, I'm talking about a couple of months or so, okay? So just be on the lookout for that. Now, also on this channel, it's just for us to talk about other things, right? We don't have to always be in gaming. It's just more so just kind of like my content creation channel, I would call it. It's mostly going to be probably gaming, Valorant, Minecraft, maybe some other stuff if you guys like Rocket League, right? So there's probably other stuff that I'm going to have in terms of games on there. But we can also just do chatting sections on there, right? We can just talk about anything that's going on. For example, I mean, I know it might be even like, it might be sad to talk about this, but like I also think it might be even important to talk about it. There was a thing today in Nashville, Tennessee, where there was a school shooter. If you're not aware, that is the 19th school shooting in America this year. So, like, first off, my condolences and my thoughts and prayers are to all the families that lost people to I guess yesterday. But I don't really want to talk about politics on that channel, but I do think that, you know, those conversations is something that I think can be brought up, or at least, you know, news stuff that we can talk about. But also just in general, like, we just talk about anything on that channel as well. So those are the two things that I am planning on for now. That's going to be kind of down the road in terms of content stuff from me. Like I said, this channel is not going away. During the playoffs, I am going to be streaming on this channel, talking about the playoffs and what's going on there. And then obviously draft night and then free agency is going to be, I'm going to be, you know, streaming on this channel. You're probably going to see a video or two from me during the off season for the Bulls. But this channel will still be alive. But I want, if for the other, you know, dead period of time, if you want to keep up with me and want to get more content from me, then it's going to be probably those other two channels, the White Sox channel and then the gaming channel is going to be the other two channels that probably, I'll just say from like May through, you know, I'm going to say May through August might be kind of where I'm mostly at, okay? Again, it's not going to be everything, just probably most of my stuff's going to be there, okay? So that is the plan for now. Things could change, but that is at least the plan for now in terms of stuff like that. I can't follow baseball. I don't understand baseball too much for me, but I'm gonna follow you anyways. Love your content. I appreciate that, Box. Shouldn't you gather your viewers in one channel instead of splitting into multiple ones and just make sections? Valorant's high risk. So the way I look at it is this: you don't typically want to break up your channel into multiple different sections if your sections are pretty different, right? So, for example, if I broke up this channel into Bulls, White Sox, and esports, right? That's three different niches all in one channel. The algorithm is not going to know where the hell it is, right? So there is no reason for me to do something like that. Especially for this channel. Like this channel has a very specific niche right now, and I want to keep it that way. So yeah, I don't want to break up, or I don't want to, you know, break the channel up into sections. I would rather make new channels so I'm on the correct algorithm for each channel, and then we'll work from there. You're on PC? I am on PC. Yes, I am on PC. Played for a year, reached the Sunday, got stuck there, and I quit after 3 months after being hard stuck between the Senate and 2 and 3. Oh, gotcha. Try to establish first as a YouTuber and then start splitting channels. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Just what it feels logical to me, my primitive brain. So I understand what you're saying. I get it, first off, but let me explain it to you like this. If I was a Twitch channel, I agree with you. Like, if I was strictly a Twitch channel that was like my only following, I agree that I would just be streaming everything on that channel, right? Whether it's Bulls post game or streaming East or streaming Valorant, like, I would just stream everything on that one channel. But the way YouTube works is that YouTube works off the algorithm, and YouTube is specifically going to put you in a niche, right? And it's going to recommend you to viewers in that like that specific niche. The YouTube algorithm does a fantastic job of getting people exposed to, or getting channels exposed to the correct viewers. Okay, you can build an audience much easier on YouTube than you can on a Twitch stream, right? Or other streaming platforms, right? Again, as I said, I'm going to be doing probably a little bit more videos than streams. So just be aware that this is the way I'm thinking, right? If it's only streams, I agree with you, but I'm planning on doing both, right? So this is the reason why I am planning on doing these splitting the channels, because if I suddenly just put I stream Valorant one day on this channel, right? Like, we have basketball, and then suddenly there's a Valorant section in here, right? That's not how I want this to work, and I think that's going to create an issue with how the algorithm works. So yeah, I think that it's best for me to do it this way. I'm also just, I could be wrong about this, but I've also done my research about this too. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm not saying that this is, something that's going to be, permanent or anything. I'm just letting you guys know that this is kind of my plan for now. And this page is going nowhere, but this is just kind of the plan it is for now. Never saw him. I recommend it. Chicago Bulls is one of my favorite, most searched and viewed content. He's introduced you to me, thankfully. So yeah, I'm not saying that the YouTube algorithm 100% is going to be giving you everybody, or giving all Bulls fans my channel. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. It just, in general, right? It's gonna expose me to more channels than it would be for a Twitch stream. Like, if you guys don't know, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but let's just do this, okay? If you guys don't know how this actually works for Twitch, look at how many 1 viewer Annies there are. Okay, there's a bunch of 0 viewer Annies on Twitch. This is how it works on the Twitch system. Okay, the Twitch system is very, very weird, where you have all these streamers out here, and they're streaming to nobody, right? If you don't know, most of the streamers on Twitch, they stream to nobody, straight up nobody. That's most of the streamers on Twitch. So I just, when it comes to YouTube, I'm just aware of how that it can be a better platform to go out and get those viewers. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. Hell, I have only 650 subscribers on this channel, right? But breaking it up is going to help me get more people, right? And slowly grow those other channels, right? Which, by the way, those other channels, they're not necessarily for, I'm not planning on them to be my main stuff either. You have to understand this, guys. I'm not making money from this right now, okay? So, I don't have really much incentive to be streaming everything on this channel right now, okay? So, I'm planning on doing, the splitting up the channels, because I want to make sure that each individual channel is in the correct niche, and then I get the correct audience for that channel, and then YouTube's gonna help put me into those categories correctly. But yeah, just to kind of show you that this happens. It overall does kind of suck for those people. We need to find a way to advertise the channel. It's definitely not a channel worth of 5 to 10 live viewers, man. Oh, I agree, but part of it is on me. I haven't made videos consistently, so that's my bad. But I am working on advertising this channel a little bit better. There's gonna be stuff that I'm gonna start working on TikTok, right? And once I start doing that, I expect this to grow. Okay. So yeah, don't worry about that right now. Nothing, not even pocket change. It's that bad. Yeah, I get nothing. Like I guess like I could technically get something if I did like affiliate marketing, but I don't do that to you guys. Like if you don't know affiliate marketing, like I can legit like sign up for affiliate marketing, get a link, and then I would make you guys. I would constantly be telling you guys, hey, link in the description to help me out. Go buy something off of Amazon or something like that. I could do that, but I'm not. I don't do that. So this channel, for me to even start making just sense, I need to get it to 1,000 subscribers, and I need to get my watch hours a little bit up higher. But it's close. It is close. I do expect something recent that is going to happen. I think it's going to boost this channel a little bit. Again, I'm not going to leak anything, but there is something that is in the works right now that I do think is going to boost this channel a little bit. So, if I could get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, that'd be great. But it's not something I'm like, in desperate need of right now. I'm fine right now, like in terms of financial stuff. I'm a student, so I am aware that how much time and energy I put into this, but I'm, as you can see, I want to do this stuff for free because I love it. So yeah. So I just want to make this announcement now. Again, this is not something that I think is like, I'm not saying it's permanent. I'm just saying that I'm trying this out. Okay, I guess I should have started with that. Like, I'm not saying that this is 100% guaranteed is gonna work and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm just trying this out. Okay, I think let's say I only had like 100 subscribers on this channel. I would not be doing this, right? But I think because I've at least formed some sort of community that I'm willing to go ahead and try, and then see if I can maybe even grow those channels a little bit more. Which, by the way, I'm not expecting those channels to be like those other channels to be making any money, right? I don't want you guys to be thinking like, oh, he's gonna try to go make money off of streaming on YouTube Gaming or something like that. I'm not expecting that at all. I'm not expecting to make a cent. Okay, I just overall I've enjoyed this experience, and I want to try to expand it a little bit and see kind of where it goes. Yeah, that's kind of the plan for now. This could change. Again, nothing's even been nothing's set in stone, and nothing's been announced, right? I'm just letting you guys know this now, kind of to let you guys know about it, and then if something does change, something does change. And that's that. Cross my fingers. Want it to work out for you, man. I appreciate it. Look, man, I'll just say this too. At the end of the day, I just want to have fun, right? I just want to have fun. Like I think this is something that I think people have kind of forgotten in this world. So I think there's a lot of people in this world that they look at, like, for example, like a Twitch streamer has 20 views a stream, okay? Or like, yeah, let's just say 20 views a stream, like, and then they still stream consistently, and people are like, why would you do that? Like, how much money are you actually making versus how much time you're actually and effort you're putting into it? Like, they may be making $1 an hour from that Twitch stream, but for them, it's fun, right? It's fun. My friends and I, we've all been like trying to get into this space a little bit more. I have a friend that has a YouTube channel. It's not going very well, but he wants to get into the streaming space. And so because I do have at least some sort of following, then I'm like, I can at least maybe try to help jumpstart them a little bit, and kind of start accruing some viewers, because the way that you can really get viewers in is if you're part of like a group or something. And I have a group, so I don't have a group for in terms of sports, but I have a group in terms of gaming. So we can maybe get viewers that way as well. You mean try to go make money off YouTube Gaming? Where's the problem with that? Oh, I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem at all. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not expecting to get money from this. Okay, I'm just expecting just to try something out. You show you what you enjoy more and what's best for you. Yeah. If you manage to find and combine what we enjoy and make money out of it, we can ask for more. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, by the way, guys, I want to make this clear. I do not expect streaming to ever be my main source of income ever. Okay, this is something that I'm doing this because I love doing this. Okay, I have fun with you guys after every single Bulls game. It's an absolute joy for me to do. Okay, I know that I don't make money off of it, but I enjoy it. I truly do. So I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, would money be nice? For sure. But I'm not worried about that right now. I need to, if I was serious about getting money off of this, I could do a lot more. Like, I could actually, like, it sounds crazy, but I could actually get sponsors technically off my watch hours. It requires some work, but I'm a college student. My number one priority right now is get through college, and then, you know, everything else is after that. So I'm not spending the time and effort into this channel to, like, really try to grow it, right? But I am here right now because I love doing this, and I'm not going to stop doing this. And so some of these other channels that I plan on making, I think it's just gonna be a similar thing. So just be on the lookout for it. I appreciate your input box, and you think that I probably shouldn't be splitting channels with such a low following, but I understand that. But, like, I'll just say this just so you kind of get an idea. Like, if this White Sox channel at some point gets like 50, like at the end of the year has like 50 to 100 subscribers, like, I'll be happy. Honestly, like, that's I at least know that, like, there's a few people watching every single video, right? So yeah, there's stuff that I truly just do not really care about the numbers right now. So like a channel, I want to check it out. I will. Which year are you on, and what? Sorry, you're cut off. This stupid. I have, like, if you guys don't know, I have a heart thing, like a heart emoji in the chat that keeps cutting off your messages, and it's like new, and I don't like it. So I don't know why this is here, and I've tried to, like, get rid of it. Hold on, sorry, I have to scroll so I can see your guys' entire message completely. What year are you on? What something starts with a K? Studies are you doing? I guess this says knowledge or something. Studies. But basically, I am a senior right now. I am planning on graduating this upcoming. What kind of studies are you doing? I am planning on graduating this upcoming summer. Been a crazy ride, but I am planning on graduating this upcoming summer. I am a sports communications major. I am also a communication and media minor. So what I am studying is kind of what I'm kind of doing on here already. But I kind of know that the sports communications area right now, in terms of jobs, is pretty garbage. There are people getting laid off left and right. So I'm planning, like, this is the reason why I do appreciate communication. So I plan on getting a job in general communication when I get out of college. But just because I'm getting a job does not mean that this is going to stop. Like, this channel, I plan on it at the very least, is even when I get a job, okay, this channel is going to stay alive, right? I'm always popping the chat out and have it on a separate space. Gotcha. I didn't know what I wanted to do back in 2007, so I studied oceanology. Okay, gotcha. Didn't really work out. Well, I'm sorry that didn't really work out, but yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with where I'm at. I think communication, I'm pretty good in general with communication. I'm not a big fan of public relations, but that is what it is. But no, I like communication, so I'm working with that for now, and planning on getting a job in it. And like I said, though, even when I get that job, this channel is going to stay here, and it's going to continue to be alive and well. I know I've abandoned this channel multiple times before, but I've kind of figured out a system how I want things to work out. So this channel is going to work out for me, at the very least. So that, just so you guys know, like, I want this to be clear. This channel always is my first priority. The other channels, the White Sox and the gaming channel, like, if I have to abandon those, I abandon those. Like, that's fine. But this channel has my top priority when it comes to YouTube. So I'm not going to be leaving this channel out anytime soon. Yeah. I am also working on, trying to get collaborations. I kind of said to you guys, potentially, hypothetically, look out for something when it comes to Hayes. And I do want to get my name out there in terms of in the Bulls community. Because again, let's just be real. This is the first year I'm doing this, right? And I didn't expect my first year to be, I'm, flying, like the numbers are huge and everything like that. I did not expect that. So I feel like I'm in a good spot right now, even though that I am not getting paid technically for this. So it's okay. I promise it's okay. And I don't have any complaints right now. So I do apologize for making this a long conversation, but I do want to let you guys know about this. So it also, just in case people watch the VODs, because I look, like, people actually watch the VODs. So I know that people are going to be checking in on this. So they can also get this notice. Very glad. Seemed like a great dude that knows what he wants out of life. That's commendable at your age. I didn't know. Sorry. I need to pop out chat. Give me a sec. Good dude that knows he wants out of life. That's commendable at your age. I didn't know. Ish. I was just all over the place. I'll just say this. Like, I don't think I fully know what I'm going to be doing in my life either. I'm glad. I will say that I am pretty proud that I'm getting a bachelor's degree. It's not, like, I guess I'll say that, like, school for me is something that I've taken very seriously, and probably too serious at sometimes. So getting a bachelor's degree, I think, is a big thing for me. And I am pretty proud of it. Now, what I do with that bachelor's degree, I don't know. I personally I'm not exactly sure. Like, I don't have, like, a business set in mind, or a place, or like a dream job just yet. But I do kind of have like a general idea of where I'm gonna be kind of going, and so I'm just gonna let the ride take me wherever it's gonna go. Again, there's gonna be constants. I plan on, if I ever plan on shutting down this channel, I'll let you guys know. Okay, like, I'm not just gonna suddenly just go off and away just suddenly. Okay, I will let you guys know if this channel is going to be shutting down, but that's not in the plans anytime soon. So this channel, I think, is going to be something consistent for me, and then I hope that this channel is going to excuse me, I hope this channel is going to get me my name out there in the Bulls community, and then who knows, maybe this channel eventually at some point gets me a job somewhere, and gets me into the Bulls community where I'm working at CHGO or something. Who knows? So yeah, it just, like, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going, but I kind of have a general idea. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this summer is going to be crazy for me, because I have never known the experience of not having school since I was 5. So it's a crazy experience for me, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, just want to let you guys know about that. Fox, I really appreciate you. You've been a great add to the community, and yeah, I appreciate you asking about where I'm at in terms of school status and such. All right, but want to let you guys know about just some other plans in the books, and then I'm just gonna be kind of working through that a little bit. But yeah. So Kenny Dude, who doesn't seem very knowledgeable about basketball, is everywhere. PR worked out for him, and he knew what to target, I guess. Some Kenny Dude who doesn't seem very oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I do think that I am a pretty hard worker. So, if I ever get that kind of opportunity where I'm like, I can really be a valuable asset, like, who knows, man. I am being flexible right now. I am pretty young, right? So I think I have that flexibility now. When I get older, you know, things change. But I do have that flexibility for now to be kind of like, kind of see where it kind of goes. But yeah. But if he could do it, you love that sport and put in the work and analysis and everything. Can't see you falling. Failure if you go after it. I got more faith in you than I ever had in myself. I appreciate that, Box. Yeah. I will say this, like, when it comes to getting into the sports scene, it's going to be rough. The economy is not great right now, and as I said, people with the jobs that I want are being laid off, right? And it's not a good thing right now. Now the economy could shift, who knows? But yeah, if I ever get to that point, that'd be awesome. But I also know that it takes a long time to get to that point, right? And I'm willing to put in that work. Yeah. Was it a sports scene in Greece? The thing you needed the most is sorry. God, I'm being blocked by that emoji. But it's tough skin. Yes, tough skin. You have no idea how many guest speakers have come in and said that if you're gonna be a journalist, or just in general a journalist, not even a sports journalist, you have to have tough skin. And I don't know what it is about me, but maybe it was how I don't think it was how I was raised. I just think it's my personality. I will also say though, like, I guess this is kind of personal, but like when I was younger, I did get bullied. The biggest thing was that it was about my hair. People made fun of my hair because they're like, "You're a girl," and I'm not saying that women are any less or females are any less than men. It's like I identified as a man or a boy, and I was being called the other gender. But it was also just a lot of teasing from, like, you know. So I just think that maybe that was part of it, but it's also just my personality where I'm like, I seem to have like I can take insults pretty well, and it doesn't really truly affect me. So I do think that I have that sort of tough skin. If it ever gets too much, then I'll know. I will truly know. If in an actual sports radio / channel, not internet things, man, I just couldn't follow through. I'm not a very calm guy when I know everyone's just using or mistreating me and abusing me. Oh, I mean, yeah, if abuse is involved, then yeah, I don't blame you. I guess whenever I hear tough skin, it's like, you're gonna have critics. You're always gonna have people critiquing you, etc., etc., etc. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm aware. Like, I just kind of know that's what comes with the job. Like, hell, even on this channel, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like, if you look at my channel, there's a Lonzo Ball video that has a ton of dislikes and very few likes, and it's a very watched video. But the funny thing is that I gained subscribers off that video. But yeah, that video has a ton of people critiquing that or criticizing the hell out of me and saying that I don't know basketball. I'm like, oh, sure, go ahead, guys. You can think that. I just know that I believe, and I've given you facts, and you the people that have come back and tried to argue against me, you don't have evidence. Like, you don't have anything to support your argument. So I think I'm prepared for that sort of critique, honestly. Using not in the bully type way, but you gotta work like a dog 15 hours a day. I'm gonna pay you for your phone bills. Yeah, I also am aware of that sort of stupid, like, radio stations, they tend to do something like that. Also, journalism is also kind of in that area. So, like, I'm aware that there is some sort of jobs like that. And by the way, if I have to work 15 hours or not much, I'm not gonna be doing that job. I would much rather do this and get a job somewhere else that pays the bills, that may not even be in the sports field. So yeah, for me, it's about taking that balance of like, okay, I'm good at this, I'm gonna go get a job that I can do well and I'll get paid for it, but I still want to have fun in the field I studied, right, which is this, and I'm gonna have fun here. So yeah. So basically, I had to somehow magically create income out of thin air to pay for gas, food, and rent, etc. And they were publishing a lot of articles I was writing without even giving me credits, no name under or over the article. That is absolute garbage. Wow. Yeah. I'm aware that happens though, right? Like that's not abnormal, right? My work wasn't appreciated. I wasn't getting paid for it. I was treated poorly. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you, Box. But yeah, I am aware that does happen, and that's completely. It is so unjustified for that to happen, right? And it sucks, but you know, I will be aware if I ever feel like I'm being treated that way, then like I'm never going to be doing that job. Yeah. And so I'm glad that you were able to not do that for the rest of your life, because there are some people that would have 100% have stuck with that for the rest of your life. Everyone thought that was pretty normal. Come on, you just need to toughen up. That was the advice. Yeah, I've also heard people say that about this world. It's stupid. Yeah, that's like, if people are gonna say toughen up off that, like, there's a serious issue. Like, they have issues. So yeah. All right. Oh my God, you're a basketball guy, but you're following football or soccer. Oh my God, man. Yeah, I would hate that too. I'm also a basketball guy. I'm a baseball guy. I can also write about NFL, but if you told me to go watch a soccer game and write about it, which I've had to do for assignments before for college, but if I had to go get paid, that it'd be tough for me to even get paid and do it. That's how much it's like I would not enjoy that job. Yeah. So I feel for you, Box. Yeah, I know the feeling, because I've had to cover soccer games. I've had to do it. It's not an enjoyable experience for me. Yeah. Alright. I appreciate, again, you guys hanging out with me. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, if you have not hit the like button on the stream, I do appreciate it if you do. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And then Wednesday is Bulls against the Lakers, right? And we gotta be. I'll be streaming after this one. All right. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Whoops. Go back. Bulls need to get this one. This is a big game for the Bulls. Bulls need to get this one. So I'll be streaming after this game with you guys, and hopefully it's gonna be after a Bulls W. And hopefully then we can really be feeling confident about the Bulls in the playing situation, so that they'll be ahead enough that we won't have to be stressing out of our minds. But I appreciate you guys a lot. Again, be on the lookout for those other two channels that are going to be coming out eventually. So yeah, we'll see. Again, we'll see how that journey goes. If it doesn't go well, then so be it. I'll be perfectly fine if it doesn't go out well. But yeah, this channel is always going to be here. All right. I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Peace, y'all. Appreciate you guys a lot.